because every day I see the same thing. Unfiled returns, confusing numbers, IRS letters stacking up, not because business owners are doing anything wrong, but because they're overwhelmed. Here's what I've learned after helping hundreds of business owners. There is always a solution, but you can't reach it until you take control. That's why I built a system to take you from chaos to control. Go to fightbacknow.com and get started. I'll show you exactly what to do, step by step. No guessing, no confusion, just a clear path forward. Go to fightbacknow.com and I'll send you my new book, Fight Back Now, Freedom Through Preparation. Just cover the shipping. I'll take care of the rest. Or if you want to talk to someone right now, call 312-664-6649. Fightbacknow.com, because chaos is the only thing standing in your way.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
In a way, you should be thanking Mandamne. You should be thanking Mao Zedong. We love you, Hong time. You should be thanking the modern communist, socialist, Democrat. At least they tell you what they are. See, the way it's normally done is through the backdoor nationalization of your life and companies. And you know who's in on that? Republicans, too. Republicans like that Skeletor-looking Lisa Murkowski, Frank's daughter. We're going to discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott in the news.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Partly sunny and 86 this afternoon. The murder trial of a woman accused of killing one Bradley police officer and the critical wounding of another is underway today. Zandria Harris is charged in the death of 49-year-old Sergeant Marlene Ribmanic and the shooting of Officer Tyler Bailey. State of Illinois and the city of Chicago are suing a manufacturing plant allegedly stinking up a far south side community. The lawsuit comes after hundreds of residents filed complaints of odors pouring out of Pullman Innovations. Senator Marsha Blackburn came out on top of the GOP primary race for Tennessee governor.
We need safe communities. You want to make certain we support law enforcement, that we're cracking down on crime, that we're treating criminals like criminals, and law enforcement like the heroes that they are.
And John DeMore has died. He played for the Bears from 1957 to 59. Passed away this week, believed to be the oldest living Chicago Bear until his passing at age 92. Sox in Cleveland tonight, Cubs in KC. The news, a service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages ending higher for the day and week, with the S&P 500 notching its 26th record close of the year after the July jobs report was softer than expected, with investors rethinking whether the Fed will raise interest rates anytime soon. Employers unexpectedly cut 23,000 jobs last month. Economists were expecting that 80,000 jobs would be added during the month. The unemployment rate dipped to 4.1% only because workers left the job market. Tech and healthcare were the best performing sectors, while energy lagged. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks were mostly higher, led by Tesla and Nvidia. The Dow winners, Goldman Sachs, Amgen, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow decliners, Caterpillar, Visa, and Chevron. The Dow up 152 points. The Nasdaq higher by 342. S&P 500 up 48. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Mike Gallagher chooses his words carefully.
They're going to destroy President Trump's agenda with these DSA freaks who are winning elections all over America. And yes, I use that word carefully. After much consideration, freakish is the only way to describe a platform that advocates for the abolition of the presidency, the Senate, the Supreme Court, the borders, no police. These are a bunch of nutcases.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their 2 kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Hey, it's Scott Tucker and my new co-host,
Amy Jacobson,
on AM 560. We wanted you to know that we have a special show every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer. It is Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker and
Amy Jacobson.
It's every Sunday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. 2-hour show, 2-hour radio extravaganza. Amy, we're going to tantalize the listening public and the listening private with all kinds of retirement planning information. So tune in at AM 560 Sunday mornings at 7 a.m.
This is attorney Robert Nauman of Nauman & Associates. Thank you, 560 listeners, for your continual phone calls to request our service in your estate planning matters. To share an example, a couple met with our team about an adult child that will need assistance after they both pass away. We created a trust with provisions that will protect that adult child and the rest of the family for years after they're gone. Give us a call when you're facing special circumstances with adult children. We'd love to help you protect your estate and your family. NALawGroup.com or 847-593-8777.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Stevenson Expressway inbound at County Line Road, an overturned semi. That accident has traffic solid from Route 53. Reports of gravel across all lanes. You're heading inbound from I-355. That's an hour 40, outbound an hour. The Dan Ryan outbound to 95th, 28 minutes. Accident now cleared at 71st, inbound at 20 minutes. On the Edens outbound, 17 minutes, inbound 32. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 51 minutes, heading back in an hour 4 minutes. Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams is an hour, inbound at 53 minutes. And solid traffic to South Lakeshore Drive. That is northbound, approaching 18th Drive from an earlier accident. And this report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcasts. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity levels and the possibility of a thunderstorm. The low will be around 70 degrees. Moving into Saturday, anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high temperature will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will bring partly cloudy conditions with a low around 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made
Cut it out,
to
squirrel!
wear the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Hot mic! Did I get caught on a hot mic? You see, Squirrel, when I get caught on a hot mic, the audience won't be offended or shocked. They know how I feel. They know that when my mic's off, I'm probably talking about slapping the taste out of Rahm Emanuel's mouth, that half-assed pansy pretend tough guy. Or I'm making fun of Governor Camel Toe and the horse harness he must get into once the Viagra kicks in. They know what to expect from me. How I make fun of him. He has to sit down when he pees because otherwise you got to do the turtle in the urinal, those fat guys, just to get to the mechanism. It's like a yoga class for that fat slob. They'll know, ooh, hot mic. But see, when a Democrat gets caught on a hot mic, they reveal who they really are. Complete and utter frauds. Liars. See, in order to sell this poppycock bull dung that has bankrupted so many of these once great areas now called Democrat dungholes, in order to do that, you can't really reveal who you are. So when they get caught on a hot mic, it's a lot different than me. where all that's going to happen is the FCC is going to go, what did he say? Can he say Governor Camel Toe? I don't see that word. It seems to be legal. Can he say do the turtle at the urinal? Absolutely. Can he say, oh, hair smells like Michelle Obama's underwear drawer? I think it's normal. But see, that's how you and I get caught on a hot mic. When a Democrat, here it is, Senate candidate El Said Yabba-Dabba-Doo, global intifada star player, asset of enemies, foreign and domestic, on a hot mic, talking about a little sliver of Michigan that I personally have never been to. I remember at the Merc, they used to have the sailboat races. What's it called? Mackinac Island? Yeah, a bunch of guys with turtlenecks and polos. But from what I hear, it's gorgeous. In fact, there's somebody there in the studio, a couple, they're going to live there. They're going to retire and live there. I heard it's absolutely beautiful. The people are nice. And you know what else? The crime is down. It's not like any other part of these Democrat dungholes where doors are getting kicked in on an hourly basis. But see, Senate candidate star of the global intifada, El Saidi Yabba-Dabba-Doo, he doesn't like it at all. Hot mic.
Please watch your step.
I hate Mackinac so much. It's funny because, like, if we win, this is going to be the, like, summer home. I'm just going to be like, every time I've ever come here, I've hated it. Why am I here?
I think it's funny, too. I think that's funny. I think that whole cult religion you have where you sell it as the religion of peace, I think that's frickin' funny, too. You know, with the illiterate warmonger who married a 6-year-old. Yuck, to me. But I think it's funny when you get caught exposing yourselves for what you are. I'm silly that way. That's why I like to catch all you $2 whores called politicians, all of you, revealing yourselves for what you are.
Senator Lisa Murkowski announced she will oppose the nomination of acting Attorney General Todd Blanche for a full term, dealing a blow to his confirmation effort. Murkowski said that while she found Blanche to be, quote, decent and capable after several meetings, she lacks confidence that he would serve as an independent check on the Trump administration.
Or is she afraid that he'll reveal how corrupt that island of fraud known as Alaska is and always has been, except for a little respite when, you know who shocked the world? Sarah Palin. She ran against Lisa Murkowski's father. How many Republicans know that? How many Republicans know anything about Alaska? Here's an FBI agent who worked all beats of corruption in the lower 48, as it's called. In fact, he's even worked in Detroit. And you know what he said as an FBI agent? He has never seen a place as corrupt as Alaska. So that means he never went to Chicago.
I have a unique perspective on some of the problems in Alaska. I was an FBI agent for 12 years, worked public corruption violations in Detroit, Puerto Rico, and 6 years here in Alaska. And I must say, Detroit and Puerto Rico are pretty corrupt. I've never seen any place like Alaska. Every time.
Alaska is a soiree of fraud scum, like Skeletor, known as Lisa Murkowski. But she's nothing in comparison to her pappy. By the way, that old rat pig thief, he's still alive. And most people forget when his chief of staff, a real scumbag, got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And the problem that they were all terrified was he was going to roll over on Frank the scumbag.
Well, today, the news of Clark's guilty plea rippled through Alaska, with some wondering how close this investigation could get to former Governor Murkowski. CBS 11's Andrea Gusti talked with some of those who are closest to the case.
We feel that
Jim Clark was former Governor Frank Murkowski's chief of staff, the man behind the governor. Now he's the man behind the first federal indictment involving Alaska's executive branch.
I know that Jim and Frank, work closely together, very closely, and they trusted each other.
Dave Dittman of Dittman Research Corporation was also close to Clark and Murkowski. So close, it was Dittman Research that Jim Clark turned to for a preliminary statewide campaign poll back in April of 2006. A poll paid for by Vico.
When he decided that, maybe he's going to run again, then, he told me, or not, he didn't tell me, Jim said, we'll go ahead and do that survey now. And then, send a the invoice, the bill to Vico.
The price tag, $20,000.
Oh, that was a long time ago. You could buy a whore for $20,000, get him to do what you want. And that Vico company, that's a Delaware company. You know Delaware, where Joe Biden was? The king, the capo, the don. Yeah, Delaware company. And what they were paying that scumbag, the chief of staff of Murkowski, what they were bribing him for was to make certain they had no competition. They wanted the exclusive rights. See, what we don't understand in the lower 48, you want to talk about never having to import any oil, any natural, anything. All the minerals, all the earth essential minerals for all the better. We don't need a fracking ounce from anywhere. It's right there in Alaska. The greatest purchase outside of the Louisiana purchase that the government ever made. And the only thing that could keep us down and poor and keep it untapped is corruption, which is why Murkowski, corrupt and ugly as her father, she loved the Biden administration. I mean, loved it, because they followed through on what her pappy was bribed for. Now, that company was engulfed by another company, and they hid it all in Delaware. One building, what do you got, 17 million fracking addresses to one P.O. box? Scumbags. They love this corruption. So Joe Biden made certain that the money that has been bribed for decades to Murkowski 1, Murkowski 2, and every other Democrat, Republican scumbag who's called a politician from Alaska, make sure, don't worry, there will be no competition.
The Biden administration has canceled its planned oil and gas lease sales in Alaska. The decision halts the potential to drill for oil across 1 million acres in the Cook Inlet. This comes at
1 million acres. No, big, it's big. 1 million acres. And Murkowski, the price of this whore getting bribed just went up. The last thing she wants is a Department of Justice headed by a guy who has arrested more corrupt people in a shorter period of time in the history of this country. That would be Todd Blanche.
He pointed to the Justice Department's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, sweeping immunity protections for President Trump, his family.
Wait, they're just getting sued now because New Mexico said you gave too much information. You didn't redact it. Murkowski says you didn't give enough, right? Isn't that what the play is? Or is it that they don't want us to look into who these Murkowskis and these Alaskan scallywags are? By the way, Squirrel, in my opinion, she stole her election anyway. She's another election thief herself.
In Alaska, they're still counting votes in the Senate race. Tea Party Republican Joe Miller leads with 87,000 votes, but incumbent Republican Lisa Murkowski, who ran a write-in campaign, trails by fewer than 10,000.
Think about this. You got to write out this whore's name. How many people in Alaska can spell Murkowski? M-U-R-K-O-W. I think it's a Y, or is it an I? And somehow, the ballots of a write-in, they appeared. She wasn't nervous at all when she talked to Katie Couric, whose most exciting interview was a colostomy.
And with more than 10,000 write-ins still to be counted, Murkowski is confident of victory because she's been getting nearly 90% of the write-in votes. Murkowski would be the first candidate elected to the Senate as a write-in since Strom Thurmond in 1954.
Woo! Way back when. Don't worry about a thing, honey. The fix is in. Like LBJ in 1941, JFK in 1960, and Joe Biden in 2020, who you loved because he followed through on the reason your father and his chief of staff were in hot water. Right, Skeletor?
And she can't wait to see how it will all play out.
Oh, she's excited.
This is a whole new world for me, and it'll be a whole new world for my colleagues in dealing with me.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you, John.
Lisa Murkowski is back in Washington.
Nice artwork.
And this time, she's making sure everyone knows how to spell her name.
Running a write-in campaign against my party's wishes demonstrates that it's either political courage or just plain crazy. I am now...
See, she didn't have to earn it the way Kamala did, the poor thing. She still has a sore left knee and a callus on her right one. She had Pappy, who's still alive, the old crook, clear the way. And now she's going to follow through to make sure she never gets caught. And all her friends and bagmen, they won't get caught either.
Senator Lisa Murkowski announced she will oppose the nomination of acting Attorney General Todd Blanche for a full term, dealing a...
No kidding. And right now, Squirrel, the decent people in Alaska, they are crying out for help. They're crying out to the federal government, to anybody. Corruption, corruption, corruption. And the Arizona AG, which is their version of Todd Blanche, don't worry. He's in on it. Aren't you, scumbag?
I don't appreciate being the gatekeeper on this. I don't think it's correct that I'm the gatekeeper on this, so I'm trying to put myself out of business on this. But
you guys are horrible at keeping the public informed on what's going on. The governor and yourself and physically talked about the evidence of corruption that's in the Department of Law. John Skidmore, there's direct evidence that he's dirty.
That's one of the things that's where you and I are going to be agreeing.
So just so you don't think that it's just our very own little capital of corruption and skullduggery in the lower 48 Chicago. And just so you don't think it's only where the Democrats are in control of the islands, like Hawaii, who, by the way, more problems after the lieutenant governor was arrested, 6 days ago?
A veteran Maui police lieutenant is accused of taking bribes from drug traffickers and illegal chicken fighting organizers.
Yeah, and they could come up with a birth certificate for an illegal alien, just like Barack Obama, anytime they want. Hawaii a thiefdom, everywhere a thiefdom. And what they want you to think is that they stand on principle. Isn't that right, Skeletor?
Blow to his confirmation effort. Murkowski said that while she found Blanche to be, quote, decent and capable after several meetings, she lacks confidence that he would serve as an independent check on the Trump administration.
You mean that he would sit down and shut up and let you and the other thieves called senators and congressmen get away with compartmentalizing corruption that would find a decent person, make him throw up in his mouth, just like you in your underwear. Right, whore? 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
When your joints hurt every day and you've been told you need surgery, do your homework. Once a joint is replaced, there's no going back. Hey, it's Dan Proft. Before you schedule surgery, get a second opinion from my friends at QC Kinetics. I personally recommend them. Whether you're dealing with pain from bone-on-bone arthritis, torn meniscus, or years of wear and tear, surgery isn't your only conversation. Talk to Dr. Caravelli and her team at QC Kinetics. They use regenerative treatments to deliver relief to patients like you. You'll start with a medical evaluation, reviewing your history, any imaging, and the actual source of pain. If you're a good candidate, they'll concentrate tiny healing tools within your body right in the spot that's causing pain. The whole idea is to give you a real shot at holding off on surgery, or in some cases, avoiding it altogether. Don't accept surgery as your only option. Call QC Kinetics today for a second opinion. The conversation and consultation are free, and weekend appointments are available. Call 312-827-6261. Again, 312-827-6261. Once more, call 312-827-6261.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
AM 560, The Answer.
All the establishment whores, they sat quiet during the forced vaccination and they jumped in. They just wanted to get their beak wet in their little fiefdoms. They sat quiet when the election was stolen, like Lisa Murkowski. They have no idea. Well, actually, they do have an idea. That's wrong. They know exactly how few Americans know how successful Todd Blanche and the Department of Justice has been in the shortest period of time since he took over that office.
Giving impunity to folks that are shooting Americans dead in the street. I'm We need to abolish ICE.
Real accountability starts with abolishing ICE, impeaching Kristi Noem, and rethinking how we enforce immigration policy in this country.
Guaranteed pay leave.
Yes.
Abolishing ICE.
Yes.
ICE cannot be reformed. ICE cannot be retrained. ICE has to be abolished.
But in Georgia, a massive ICE operation led to the arrest of over 1,200 illegal migrants. Over 700 of them had either been convicted or charged with crimes in the U.S. Take a look.
He should be cheered and celebrated. He should walk through this appointment for what he's done in our once great area. It's now infested with illegal alien gang-banging degenerate scum, or as Chicago calls it, their base. Instead, he'll be upended not just by the opposition who's in on it, like the Democrat politicians. He'll be upended by the dirty, corrupt Republicans that do not want any true investigation into what they've done in their own little fiefdoms. They had it just the way they wanted it when Joe Biden was doing the dirty work.
As gas prices are hitting painful new highs. The Interior Department says the sale was cut off due to a, quote, lack of industry interest. For more on this, I want to bring in Drew Caputo. He is the Vice President of Litigation for Lands, Wildlife, and Oceans for the environmental advocacy group Earth Justice. Drew, thanks for being here. So let's...
Millions and millions of acres, 44 million acres. Joe Biden hamstrung our companies, our industries, us, from working to develop, to produce the most important commodity on the planet and lower the costs of oil and gas and energy for citizens. And they upend it, and now the ones who would like to be president bribe and lie their way to the top. Who do they blame?
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is joining President Trump in demanding that oil companies return windfall profits to consumers. He sent an open letter to executives at Exxon, BP, Chevron, and others demanding answers about what, quote, appears to be profiteering by your companies in a time of
profiteering by the companies, just like the taxes and sales taxes and taxes on taxes and percentage increases that are built into bills that J.B. Pritzker, Democrats in here, and New York, New Jersey, and California constantly do. But it's the big bad companies, which is why, Squirrel, I wish I was on the board of these companies. You know what I would do? We're not going to ship any oil to Illinois. How do you like that? None. No natural gas. Now what are you going to do? You're going to cry? You're going to call your grandpa Abe?
J.B. Pritzker declined to appear on camera to discuss the fat cat dispute, but a Pritzker spokesman says Rounder got something else wrong as well. Pritzker insists he only inherited $1.7 billion, not $3 billion, as Rounder claimed. It's another example that the rich, as F. Scott Fitzgerald famously wrote, are not like you and me.
Well, the ones who make their money are like me and you. The ones who inherit it because their mammy knew who to give a lap dance to, they're nothing like us. And as far as what he inherited and how he built it, it was because he has a brother, Squirrel, who looks nothing like the Flintstones, looks more like the security guard of the mother. And he's the baby brother. And he took that money and invested it in Silicon Valley. And that's as close as this Governor Camel Toe ever got to a job.
Donald Trump owes the people of Illinois more than $8 billion in refunds from his illegal tariffs. It was past due in February when I sent the president an invoice, and 165 days later, it still is past due.
Now, between grants and federal reimbursements, Illinois gets $70 billion for free. Nothing. Bunch of thieves. Where's the money? Where's the $70 billion? $70 billion when you add the grants and the reimbursements for everything from SNAP to your Medicaid and all the other reasons. Nobody works in Democrat areas.
Office, all these groups have come together. We need states involved, and I'm speaking to that issue as the person who has to look at all the numbers as the administrator of CMS. Now, we're facing a personal care services crisis around the country. The surge in enrollment of individuals in these programs is stunning. So shocking, we have to double-check our numbers. We don't think it's possible it is happening, but it is. In California and New York, the #1 job in the entire state is personal care services. Guess what? It's good to be home because it's true in Pennsylvania, too.
And Illinois is right in the mix, where sons get paid to take care of mothers, husbands, and wives. It's one giant Medicaid fraud and scam, which is another reason they will fight Todd Blanche hook, line, and sinker. And then you'll hear about the jobs numbers. But what you won't hear is that Joe Biden created $4.7 trillion in fake industries like that EV battery car plants like Rivian and all across this country. And we just say trillion, trillion, trillion. Did you know, Squirrel, $1 trillion in 100 bills, in $100 bills, $1 trillion. Do you know how much it weighs? 22 million pounds. If you stacked it on top of each other, it would be twice as high as Earth's atmosphere. You go to the space station 2 times. And that's all funny money created for fraud jobs.
What do you make of the new numbers as it relates to the Labor Department's employment numbers, some negative growth as it relates to employment?
Right. Well, first of all, the momentum in the economy continues to be strong. We see, durable goods orders, capital spending through the roof. People aren't being laid off. Initial claims for unemployment insurance are about the lowest they've been since World War II. And so when you see a number like that, it seems like it's dissonant with everything else that we're seeing. When we dug into the numbers, we saw that there are really 2 special factors. One is there was a big decline in government employment, which is partly because of DOGE and partly because there was so much snow over the winter that there were extra school days at the end of the year. And so the normal time when teachers would take the summer off was June, but a lot of them got pushed into July. And so then they show up as a layoff in July. And the end of the World Cup meant that a lot of hospitality workers were then laid off after the World Cup ended. If you take those 2.
Now take the Democrat areas and how many people have gone on to welfare. And that explains all the economic numbers far better than you'll hear from CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, and any of the other propagandists who didn't want you to know. Joe Biden faked an economy by adding $9 trillion to the debt and spending every penny over the course of 4 years. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Picture this. Bottom of the 9th. Bases loaded. 2 outs. And the IRS is on the hill throwing nothing but heat and chin music. Back taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens. You're down in the count. Time to call in a pinch hitter. At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we are your pinch hitter. We deal with the revenue officers so you don't have to. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. When the IRS tries to steal home with your paycheck, we throw them out. When they load the bases with bank levies and wage garnishments, we strike them out.
Strike 3, you're out.
It's a full count and the game is on the line. Are you stepping up alone or are you bringing in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now, 630-415-5296. Again, 630-415-5296, or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Results may vary and are not guaranteed. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. What if the person you're meant to be is just one decision away? If alcohol has become a bigger part of your life than you ever intended, maybe it's time for a fresh start. A chance to live with more purpose and more clarity. Choose Your Horizon can help. Choose Your Horizon is a discreet online program designed by a Mayo Clinic-trained doctor to help you cut back or quit drinking from the privacy of your home. We provide FDA-approved medication that helps reduce alcohol cravings, along with optional coaching, health testing, and ongoing support. Whether your goal is to cut back, take control, or stop drinking completely, Choose Your Horizon lets you choose the level of support that's right for you. Choose Your Horizon is completely private and designed to fit your schedule. No rehab, no judgment, just results. A better tomorrow begins with one choice today. To get your free same-day doctor consultation, text HOPE to 54504. Text HOPE to 54504. Text HOPE to 54504 now.
This week and next week at Donley Auctions, which you can check out online at DonleyAuctions.com. Collections of cool veterans of vintage. That's what's going on. Yesterday you could bid online. I believe the doors are going to open on the 14th, where you could take the kids to Union, Illinois, take your wife. It's an incredible time in Union, Illinois, where you can go through a museum, where you can buy things, and you can ask questions about the things you may have in your basement, in your attic, in your garage. If it's in your business and you're thinking about selling it, he'll let you know. If it has anything to do in advertising, anything to do of value, no matter whether it's clothing or guns, as he is a federal and state licensed arms dealer. For 50 years, Randy Donley has been helping people sort out inheritances, sort out what happens when you close your business, take a gift that you got many, many years ago when you were a kid as a toy made out of metal, when this country was proud and there were no communists, and tell you exactly how much it is and help you sell it to the World Wide Web. Check it out all for yourself at DonleyAuctions.com or call 815-923-7000 and take a chance to tap into experience of 50 years of bringing items all around your house. Whether it rolls, it's got wheels, bicycles, motorcycles, cars. If it floats, if it's a boat, Randy Donley can sell it at the highest price. And if you're a collector, go to DonleyAuctions.com and take a chance at offsetting any kind of fluctuation in the economy with grabbing something that's valuable today, but will be more valuable in the future. When we get back, we're going to go to the lines 312-642-5600. We'll take your calls and comments after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. An investigation continues today after the remains of more than 50 were recovered from a funeral home on Chicago's South Side. Chicago police say medical examiners were sent to the South Chicago Chapel yesterday.
I can't imagine what the family members are going through. And they trusted the funeral home to put their loved ones away, and they in there decomposed. That's terrible.
A student shot several people at a high school outside Bangkok, Thailand, killing 5. The shooter killed his 2 grandparents at home before going to school with the gun. Former longtime Cook County Chief Judge Tim Evans beginning a new job. Evans has been appointed to serve as a justice for the 1st District Appellate Court. Sox in Cleveland tonight, Cubs in KC. The news a service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates and service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843. Atlantic Coast Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 613114. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of your afternoon commute. In the traffic center, here's Marty Jones.
Edens outbound Montrose to Lake Cook, 17 minutes. Inbound 36. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 54 minutes. At Madison, a disabled vehicle sits in the left lane. On the inbound ride, an hour 7. Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams, an hour 2. Inbound, an hour 5. With an accident at Higgins over to the left shoulder. Stevenson outbound to I-355 is 50 minutes. Inbound, an hour and 7. And inbound at County Line Road, an earlier overturned semi. We still have reports of gravel on the roadway. You have solid traffic from Route 53, all heading inbound on the Stevenson. Dan Ryan outbound to 95th, 28 minutes. Inbound at 18. Also an accident on I-80 now reported westbound at Briggs Street. Southbound Tri-State, delays building just before Cicero with 2 right lanes shut down with that accident. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and high humidity with a thunderstorm possible. The temperature will drop to 70 degrees. Looking ahead to Saturday, expect a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space that doesn't work. At Forever Remodeling, one team handles everything. Design, planning, and installation, start to finish. We show you your new space in 3D before we ever break ground. No surprises. With flexible financing options, the home you want is closer than you think. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, everremodeling.com to schedule your personalized in-home design consultation.
Maybe you've thought about taking a cruise. Maybe you've even talked yourself out of it. But this is not just another vacation. This is the Gulf of America cruise. 7 days through the Caribbean with Mike Gallagher, Scott Jennings, Larry O'Connor, Jennifer Horn, and a ship full of people who love this country. No packing and unpacking, no complicated planning, just great destinations, meaningful conversations, and a once-in-a-generation Celebration of America's 250th this November. Be there. Text CRUISE to 94878 to book your cabin today.
As families get ready for another school year, we're reminded that the best routines aren't built overnight. They're built by focusing on what matters most. And when it comes to dinner, that starts with quality meat. Get back to the basics with Good Ranchers. Good Ranchers partners with local farmers and ranchers to deliver 100% American meat straight to your door. It's pasture-raised, has no antibiotics, and no added hormones. It's a kind of quality you can actually feel good about serving to the people around your table. For a limited time, you can get $50 off your first Good Ranchers order. That means you can build your own box starting as low as $129. Just visit goodranchers.com/clay to get $50 off anything on their site. Remember, that's goodranchers.com/clay for $50 off. You also get double the free meat with every order on top of the $50 off when you start a plan today. Go to goodranchers.com/clay. Switch to American meat delivered.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Sports memorabilia, movie posters, rock and roll, get top dollar for your collection. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
How about Hawaii? Lieutenant Governor arrested a week ago. Upper echelon of the Democrat mafia in Hawaii. And today, the lieutenant in the police department.
Lieutenant Michael Vaitu'ulala remains behind
That's fun
bars
to
tonight.
say.
Court documents allege he told a cooperating defendant that he wanted to become the, quote, Larry Mayhow of Maui, a reference to the alleged godfather of organized crime in Hawaii.
Wow.
Prosecutors say he accepted thousands of dollars in cash in exchange for protecting criminals and leaking sensitive law enforcement information. Nikki Schenfeld has more.
Oh, what do you guys think? You're in Hawaii?
More money, more money, more money.
Terry, Shirekistan.
Hey, Shaun, the appellate court denied Trump a building permit for the White House. Do you think they get the building permit if he hired illegals to do the construction?
No.
Also, the courts don't have all their oars in the water. Elevator don't go to the top, and they're 4 cents shy of a nickel.
If he wanted to get the building permit, he would have had to hire that big fat ass Ed Burke. You remember him? He'd have had to hire him, stroke him a big check, pretend he was heterosexual all the time, and then you go talk to a crooked judge, and that's how you get the permit. Terry, come on, don't pretend you're from Iowa. Liz, Clarendon Hills.
Hey, Shaun. Yeah. I was at Shaun Fest in the front row last year in the summer. I think it was at Pembroke Farms or something. But now I'm in Elmwood Park for the first time at Elmwood Park Fest, and I love this town.
Oh, yeah.
These people are good people.
Yes, some of them. But the ones who are going to cozy up to that chipmunk face, Rod Blagojevich, you tell them, I'll remember it. All right, you do that for me? And we were at Goldberg's farm last year. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that Rod Blagojevich. He's going to make a comeback as what? Less of a scumbag than he used to be? But, Liz, you say hello to my friends over there. You have a great time. Thank you.
I will, Shaun.
All right,
have a good night.
Thank you. It was a good place, and it still is. Some areas. Away from the Democrats. This is what I like, Squirrel, about being here. I don't even bump into one. No matter what I do, there's no moron lowlife that would vote for a Democrat that steals your money, lies to your face, and hates Mackinac Island. Hot mic, Squirrel. Hot mic. I love the hot mic. Don't you?
Please watch your step.
Listen to the horses. You know, I know cars on Mackinac Island, Squirrel.
So much. It's funny because, if we win, this is going to be the, summer home. I just feel like every time I've ever come here, I've hated it. Why am I here?
Yeah, can't tell the truth. And you're going to love government health care, and Islam is the religion of peace. All a frickin' lie. Jim! Lake County.
Namaste, my brother. Namaste.
Namaste. Where you been? I thought you got kidnapped by one of those bigger women in a size 18 yoga pants that took a liking to you at stretch class.
I was helping a commie in Michigan win.
Oh, great. We love you hung time. Did you wear the shirt? Mao Zedong, you didn't come up with any of the T-shirts? Come on.
She's actually Chinese. That's the whole thing about South Korea. There's a lot of Chinese genetics.
And
look it up. It's easy to find.
She was great in Finding
for you.
Nemo. She was Dory's friend, right? Just keep swimming. Go ahead.
But not multicolor. Hey, why is Christine Grady not said as Dr. Fauci Grady, or Grady Fauci, and flipping off the press just recently?
You're talking about Fauci's wife, and you're asking why wouldn't they expose the fact that, in case you're not paying attention, little Dick Durbin's wife is a lobbyist, and they hide it in the wife's name and the cousin's name? Is that what you're asking?
Really? Yeah. Why is that happening in the real world?
Well, the press is there to cover it up. How do you think they got their job? What do you think Andy Shaw did for the daughter? Think she's really a judge? Get the hell out of here. Jim, where you been? This is what happens when you smoke dope and you stretch and you call it a class. That's what happens. You lose track of reality. Megan, Orland Park.
Hey, Shaun, I just had to call in when you started talking about Hawaii. I am taking my husband in February, end of February, and probably going to start booking it this weekend to Hawaii. We're going to go to Oahu. We're going to go to Maui. And he said to me, we're not staying on Waikiki Beach. It's too dangerous, so we're going to go to the north end, but then go to Maui. And this is a way to thank him for 3 years ago when he gave me his kidney on our 25th anniversary.
Wow, that's love. That is love, baby. Yeah. You're lucky you didn't marry some guy from my neighborhood. He would have gave you a divorce paper and wished you luck. I think it's great.
Oh, no.
I'm kidding. Everyone's going to be hostile now at the Elmwood Park Feast. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Have a good time. And just remember, if your husband, wants to live it up a little bit, buy some dope and go to a cockfight, ask a cop. Thank you very much, Megan. I appreciate it. You know why I said that, Squirrel? Because they're in on it. Like every Chicago Democrat scoundrel parked outside of Ed Burke's house waiting for him to get in the mood to go by the girlfriend.
According to a 31-page federal criminal complaint, Michael Vaitu'ulala accepted thousands of dollars in cash from illegal chicken fighting organizers and suspected drug traffickers.
What is the IQ of people? I'm dead serious about this, Squirrel. You know what I want to do tonight? We're going to get drunk on some booze that really stinks and very flammable, and we're going to go watch two roosters beat the shit out of each other. Are you kidding me? What is the average IQ of a guy who says, you know what I'm in the mood for? A good rooster scuffle. What the hell's wrong
in
with
exchange for protecting them from enforcement. One cooperating defendant told investigators, quote, everybody pays Vaitu'ulala. And another said they would place thousands of dollars in cash inside his truck's glove compartment.
Makes you think about that fire. Remember when the coppers were telling everybody, go back in? Go ahead, back in. Rub yourself down with some tenderizer. Go back in there. You're going to love it. It'll be fine. And then we'll sell your land.
Court documents allege he approved where and when illegal chicken fights could be held. The feds say that he also warned drug traffickers about active federal investigations.
You know what that means, Squirrel? He's a cockfighter promoter. You thought that was only about Kamala Harris. 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
I'm Ben Barzita.
And I'm Matt Nadeau, founding partners of Barzita and Nadeau Wealth Management. And after more than a decade on the air, we're excited to be back with our brand new show, Money Hour Radio.
Tune in every Saturday at 1 p.m. on AM 560 as we break down retirement planning, market trends, tax reduction strategies, and our Advance and Protect investment approach.
It's sophisticated planning, independent analysis, and trusted guidance backed by over 40 years of combined experience.
Join us for Money Hour Radio, Saturdays at 1 p.m. on AM 560.
Hey, did you ever track down that missing warehouse key?
I forgot all about it.
You forgot? You said that guy was furious when you had to let him go.
That doesn't matter anymore. Goldilocks set us up with new managed access control. We're keyless now. Everyone has a card or fob. Even their phone works.
Huh. You don't have to worry about people copying keys either.
Yeah, never again. Goldilocks allows me to handle everything from my phone or laptop. I can see who came into the building, when they left, restrict their access at night. I can grant temporary access to visitors, too. It takes 30 seconds to add or remove someone.
That sounds a lot safer and simpler.
Stop guessing who has access to your building. Set up access controls today by calling Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. Again, that's 708-889-5600 or visit GoldilocksInc.com. Goldilocks. Security under your control.
Hey y'all, I'm Willie Robertson.
And I'm Corey Robertson.
We partnered with Echo. It's a new platform, not just streaming.
Movies and series that are safe for your family. Echo. I love a podcast.
Plus Echo Daily Devotionals.
Echo.
Hey Willie, what is Echo?
Echo is my pet squirrel. Okay, Doc. Echo is not just faith-friendly, it is faith-driven.
Be a part of something better.
Echo.
Echo.
That's where I want to be.
That's EKKL.com.
Subscribe now.
Since 2007, Folds of Honor has awarded nearly 73,000 educational scholarships, over $340 million to the children and spouses of America's fallen and disabled military heroes and first responders. This year alone, 7,700 qualified applicants didn't receive funding, not because they didn't deserve it, because resources ran out. You can change that. On Saturday, September 12th, you're invited to an exclusive VIP concert experience at a private estate in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, featuring Gary LaVox of Rascal Flatts and the Swan Brothers, benefiting Folds of Honor. This is an intimate evening with incredible live music and an even more incredible cause. Tickets are limited, and if you own a business, this is your chance to put your brand behind something that truly matters. Honor their sacrifice, educate their legacy, make lifetime memories. For tickets or business sponsorship opportunities, visit foldsconcert.com. That's foldsconcert.com. Saturday, September 12th. Don't miss it. foldsconcert.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I can't help it, Squirrel. It's a lot of information to take through the course of 5 days. You got to find the joy in it. For instance, there's a lot of funny stuff that happened. For Democrat Amy Klobuchar. Did you ever see this buffoon? She looks like Buster Brown. Minnesota Democrat whore, in on all the scams. She is going to tell a live audience that she's down with the struggle to secure the border, and they can't even take it.
I've long believed and supported funding for order at the border, and I have worked well with law enforcement in Minnesota for years. But what
Quiet. They're laughing at her. I wish they would have laughed at Joe Biden all those years.
Everybody also agrees, I got from this morning, but I think we had before, that we waste a heck of a lot of money, and that somewhere around a third of all the dollars we spend on Medicare.
Can I just say, Squirrel, this is pre-stolen election. Listen to the difference. This is about 2010. Listen to the difference.
There goes for nothing useful. We're not cutting Medicare benefits in this. We're trying to eliminate the third of the problem that's a waste. And this is a big entitlement. It's a big entitlement. Medicare.
It's a fraud. It was a fraud then. That's why Barack expanded it, by 400%? But man, oh man, the difference. That's what.
And Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce it, Shanga Kawawa.
What an absolute moron. Sutton still holds the record as the only elected official to ever say an entire sentence without a word. And it was all made possible because of Republicans like Lisa Murkowski. and other establishment whores that wanted to allow the most obvious election theft in American history. I'm including 1960. The most obvious election theft to continue unfettered.
In my role as the White House chairman of the White House Transparency Task Force, we released some new documents. What do they show? Arizona's largest county suffered a significant breach of its election data in the days before the 2020 presidential election. Yep, the one that they called the most secure wasn't. Well, how did it happen? A self-described hacker foiled security and scraped 633,000 voter registration files from Maricopa County's website. The Biden Justice Department,
his name, by the way, he doesn't say his name here. I wonder why. His name is Elliot Kerwin. Elliot Kerwin, asset of enemies, foreign and domestic, staunch Democrat.
Wait, the FBI then solved the case. They actually went, they got the guy to confess. They found the hacker who took 633,000 files, and they got him to confess. And you know what? The Biden Justice Department, the Arizona Attorney General's office, and 2 local prosecutors would not charge the man with a crime, even though it caused the Maricopa County system to go down for a period of time on election, in that final hours of election day. We learned about this because it was recorded over and over again in a cyber intrusion log that was kept by U.S. intelligence agencies. And then we went to the FBI. The FBI was kind enough to get us the documents. It is pretty remarkable. Think about this. This is all playing out in late 2020 to early 21. At the same time, the Biden Justice Department doesn't want to prosecute someone who admitted penetrating and compromising an election system and stealing voter registration files. You're in my type.
Well, the fix was in, kid. And who perpetrated that? The Secretary of State, Katie Hobbs, who won very narrow supposed victories, both the Senate and the governor's race. This is not from 2020. This is from Katie Hobbs' victory, allegedly, over Lake.
Today, Maricopa County elections officials revealed that they found almost 2,800 unopened ballots today inside their downtown warehouse. The ballots were discovered as elections workers were inspecting equipment returned from county voting locations, according to an election spokeswoman. A drop box containing ballots with a tamper-proof seal had been transferred from a West Valley voting site.
Now, the reason that they feel righteous in stealing elections is the same reason they feel righteous in stealing your money and stealing your property. They feel you, as an individual, do not deserve it. And when I say they, I'm talking about the ones that are smart enough and cunning enough and deceitful enough to run for office. The other ones are too stupid to know if it's Tuesday or July. Morons in general. But to hear them explain why rent increases, it goes to show you how ignorant they are. And keep in mind, Elizabeth Warren lied for 40 years about being an Indian and made millions, her and her husband, in flipping real estate. Did you know that, Squirrel? Most people don't. She waited specifically till she was a lawyer for a bank and had the lead on all the foreclosures.
Can somebody explain to me how my rent goes up when the lease renewal comes and nothing about my living has changed? Nothing's been renovated. Nothing's been updated. I'm not getting anything new. Also, my pay hasn't gone up, but you can jack my rent up hundreds of dollars. Make it make sense.
Yeah. I can explain it to you. Your rent keeps going up because of 2 big reasons. First, there are just not enough houses or apartments in cities and states all across this country.
Keep in mind, there has never been, never in Chicago specifically, more vacant property than right now. Never been. But just keep saying the same thing. After all, she was the highest financial consultant for the Chippewa.
So landlords have a lot of leverage to jack up the rents on you. And second, we know that huge corporate landlords and private equity investors slap all sorts of extra fees and jack up rents just because they can.
Like the Cook County assessor? Or like J.B. Pritzker? Or like Mayor Mandamny? Mayor Brandon Johnson? Mayor, any other commie bastard stealing money in a $6,500 suit. The bad guy's always the individual, but the government that misappropriates and cannot account for trillions of dollars, they're there to bring you peace and joy like they've delivered in every Democrat urban hellhole known as a ghetto. 312. Oh, we got a guest. We got a guest coming up. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Insurance came out about the roof. Offered us $15,000. I was thrilled.
I know it seems like a lot, but I'm not sure that number is that generous. Insurance is usually going to lowball you.
I mean, I already found 2 companies who could replace it for that.
Sure, contractors will make it fit that budget, but they're cutting corners to make it work.
How's that?
Cheap materials, lower grade shingles with a poor warranty, reusing old flashing, cheap underlayment.
How would I even know?
You wouldn't. That's exactly why I'd call New Edge Improvement. They'll go through your insurance quote line by line, catch what's being cut, and fight to get you covered. You have a beautiful home, and New Edge Improvement will do a quality install and help you get the roof you're owed. One that matches the quality of what you had.
Thanks. I'll give New Edge Improvement a call.
New Edge Improvement. Visit them today at newedgeimprovement.com. Again, that's newedgeimprovement.com and tell them AM560 sent you.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Progressive presents Perfectly Bad Excuses for Missing Stuff to Spend More Time on Your ATV.
Hey, Wallace. Not going to the reunion after all. Think I got cursed. Keep, stubbing my toe.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Half a century later, Watergate still shapes how Americans view power, scandal, and trust. This weekend, the America 250 film series presents Watergate Secrets and Betrayals. Revisit the investigation through archival footage, interviews, and new arguments about what happened. Watch Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Salem News Channel.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Donald Kendall. I always loved our time with Donald Kendall. He's been joining me, I think, since the very, very, very beginning. And the reason is, for his entire life, as an adult, probably as a young man, he's been fighting against the communist mafia, the socialist mafia, whatever the Democrat is calling themselves as they backdoor nationalize your life. Donald Kendall, the director of Heartland's Emerging Issue Center, has been fighting it. We'll discuss that and more with Donald after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Hot and humid this afternoon. We'll hit a high near 86. The murder trial of a woman accused of killing one Bradley police officer and the critical wounding of another will be tried by a jury of 12. Zandria Harris is charged in the death of 49-year-old Sergeant Marlene Ripmanick and the shooting of Officer Tyler Bailey. Senator Marsha Blackburn came out on top in the GOP primary race for Tennessee governor, defeating Congressman John Rose.
Our work is much bigger than any one candidate or one campaign.
And the family of a woman killed in a Fox River boat crash has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Magdalena Jablonska of Des Plaines was decapitated in the collision. Her fiancé, Alan Tomini, survived.
I heard loud engines. I looked to the left, Maggie, and then she was gone. I relived that moment every day, a few times.
Richard Stevenson is charged with reckless homicide and aggravated driving under the influence. The news is a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Jerry Willis, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending higher for the day and week, with the S&P 500 clinching its 26th record close of the year as a weak jobs report reduces pressure for a Fed rate hike. Employers unexpectedly shedding 23,000 jobs in July. Economists were expecting an increase of around 80,000 jobs last month, and the unemployment rate ticking lower to 4.1% as labor force participation fell. The Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 closing out their best week since April. Chip stocks also bounced back this week, with shares of Nvidia rising 12% for its best weekly gain in more than a year. 85% of S&P 500 companies have topped second quarter earnings estimates. The Dow up 152 points, the Nasdaq higher by 342, S&P 500 up 48. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 2001, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have been helping American heroes ever since. Heroes like U.S. Army Sergeant William Bernard McKenna, exposed to burn pits. McKenna later died from T-cell lymphoma, leaving his wife, Dina, and 2 daughters. Tunnel to Towers honored Sergeant McKenna. They paid off the family's mortgage in honor of all of his sacrifice. Donate $11 a month. If you have a car to donate, if you have land to donate, go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org today.
Fight or flight? In Illinois, you've got both options. You can stay and fight, engage in local races, work to change things. Or you can vote with your feet. At leavingil.com, we help you build a smart exit plan so you know where to go, when to go, and how to do it right. Take our quick exit readiness assessment. Go to leavingil.com. That's leavingil.com. Or call 224-800-6979.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer. From the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Eden's outbound, Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 14 minutes. Inbound at 42. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, an hour, 3 minutes at Madison. Disabled vehicle still sitting in the left lane. Inbound from O'Hare, an hour 4. Eisenhower outbound to the Jane Addams, 54 minutes. Inbound, an hour 23 with an accident at Higgins over to the left shoulder. On the Stevenson outbound to I-355, it's 45 minutes. Inbound at 59. Earlier accident at County Line Road inbound has been cleared. Overturned semi with gravel on the road. That is finally cleaned up. On the Dan Ryan outbound to 95th, 21 minutes. Inbound at 15. Inbound at 79th. We have that accident cleared up as well. And this report is a service of Fox Valley Coins in Naperville. Easy to get to off I-88 and Route 59 in Naperville. Family owned, integrity since 1981. FoxValleyCoins.com. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity levels and the possibility of a thunderstorm. The low will be around 70 degrees. Moving into Saturday, anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high temperature will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will bring partly cloudy conditions with a low around 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. if you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Now, the Heartland Institute is a fantastic organization that I have watched for many years. By happenstance and good fortune, I was able to meet Donald years and years ago. And I was impressed because when you speak to him, you would think that he's a curmudgeon. He's an 80-year-old economist who understands the worst economic system on the planet and fights against it. The reason I think you should always be optimistic is Donald, when I met him, was even a younger man and is still a young man who understands how important it is for the future of generations yet unborn that we push back against this cancer of corruption. See, there is no socialism. No such thing. No communism, no such thing. It's just the face of true greed that doesn't want to earn anything but wants to steal it. Donald Kendall has been fighting this fight at the Heartland Institute for many years. He is the director of Heartland's Emerging Issues Center. Donald Kendall, how are you, handsome?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me on. And you're absolutely right. It's the most corrosive ideology out there.
Well, and this is the other thing. We give it credibility. You really have, there's no mathematics system. There's no rational, fundamental economics involved. It is literally stealing and enslaving. And they're immune to the reality of their own failure. In fact, it's limitless, like their face of greed. And, I love the economic numbers. And people go, what do you mean you love them? They lost 23,000 jobs. Put 5 zeros on that. That's what I want it to be. Because I know how much $1 trillion is, let alone $9 trillion plus the 6.5 that comes in every year. Joe Biden burned $35 trillion and doesn't have a T-shirt to show for it. What he has is a fake economy. So all these frauds and all these phony green energy systems, all this government employment, one way or the next, fire everybody. I like when the U.S. Job numbers is low because that means private industry is thriving as the economy is actually growing in spite of the economic numbers. What do you think?
Yeah. About that idea of kind of giving socialism credibility, I think that we unintentionally do that a lot on the right side of the political aisle. When we kind of take on socialism, when purely just from an economic outcome perspective, it leads to worse outcomes and all of this. And, however you want to frame it, this is the real buttoned up white paper version of combating socialism. It almost presents it on somewhat of an equal footing in terms of it being an idea, like an economic reality idea. And it's just the question is, which one has better outcomes? Is it capitalism and free markets? Or is it socialism and collectivism? And in reality, that's not how we should look at it. One of them is fundamentally evil, and the other one is just the result of people having voluntary exchange. That's how you look at it. I don't care what the outcomes are. If you can pull up some specific example of some commune doing better or something like that, growing more soybeans or what have you, I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's an evil ideology.
Well, there isn't
that's
one.
My favorite way of looking at it.
Yeah, there isn't one. There is not a successful socialism. There is not one.
No.
And the idea that they continue to promote this idea shows you that why any moron can do it. I mean, when you look around at, say, Mao Zedong in Wisconsin, she's a bum, a bust out. What'd she ever do in her life? What'd you ever do? You and your dimwit husband ran a restaurant into the ground. So let's become communists and socialists. And that's the root of all of it. All of it are people who feel as if they should have more than they actually have. But instead of working, instead of figuring it out, they'd rather take it. And they need a government to do it, or they need some form of a law used as a weapon to do it. And that's really what all these Democrat areas are. As you watch Governor Cameltoe, J.B. Pritzker, and he talks about corporations are gouging, price gouging. What is a gas tax? You do nothing. You don't discover, you don't pull out of the ground, you don't refine, you don't transport, you do nothing, and you tax it at every level. And now $1.24 to drive through an arbitrary extortion toll booth, and every Illinoisan pays it in a car, let alone the trucks. And you're going to talk about gouging of corporations, you fat slob. There's nothing more gouging than any Democrat politician or their taxing schemes. It's a fracking joke. Why have Americans lost the ability to argue against it? You're going to pretend it's a system? It's not a system. You backdoor nationalize everybody.
Right. Well, I mean, this has roots going back, I don't even know how long, 100 years or something like that. I mean, for so long, the liberal response to accusations of a candidate or somebody, running for office being a socialist is that conservatives are just unwarrantedly using that word. Oh, right. Anyone left of Milton Friedman is a socialist, according to you. And we were even taught some of this in school. Like, I remember having an entire lesson plan, probably multiple times throughout school, talking about the Red Scare and Senator Joe McCarthy's list of communists that were already embedded throughout our system and our government and our agencies. So to this day, the so-called Red Scare is referenced to show that conservatives have been wielding these terms of communists or socialists as a rhetorical cudgel to undermine moderate, progressive Democrat positions for the last 100 years. And it's really just a propaganda tactic to condition people to not take the accusation of this candidate is a socialist seriously. And what we've been seeing in the last, 6 to 12 months is a whole new crop of Democrats, quote unquote, but socialists that aren't even really hating it anymore. Sometimes they still throw the Democratic in front of it, but they're not just talking about more social programs or universal health care. No, they're talking about how capitalism is at the root of all of these problems, and now we have to bring on the seizing of the means of production. That's the reality that we're in right now.
Therein lies the silver lining and the beauty. This is a big thing, and I'm not attacking you. You know I love you. If I could pick a younger brother or a kid, I'd pick Donald Kendall. However, we once again are culpable. We're at fault for this, and we do it almost by a knee-jerk reaction of using the word that they chose for us to use, and now we don't have to anymore. We don't have to call them liberal. They're not liberal. They never have been. They are what their new leaders in their party are. They are communists. They're not liberal. And if we could just stop doing that, the liberal idea, it's not a liberal idea. That is a commie idea. The commie idea, the commie plan, that's what they always have been. This isn't evolving. This is the destination that they proclaimed in their policies themselves. And you could go back from the dawn of FDR. Every single one, communism. And it's our fault for not identifying it. We still, to this day, there are morons out there that call that lying fraud, FDR, a liberal. Liberal. He enacted more fascism, more backdoor nationalization, more fraud and lies of policies in 6 years than the country has done in the 100 before it. He did that.
Right.
And the idea, we call them liberals, it's like calling Barack Obama a liberal. Barack Obama is a huckster, self-aggrandizing, self-enriching, bust-out fraud who, before he became president, could not make a car payment. I am not making that up. I know the guy. I'll bring him right to the mic. Come here, tell him you paid his car bill, that bum that he was. And the whole idea that he has, $50 million in real estate assets? From what? Netflix contracts? Bull dung. Those policies come back in the form of campaign contributions, and that's why the debt is $30 trillion. Each trillion weighing 22 million pounds. Think of that.
Right. Yeah, it's there's like a cycle of this, right? You see this in just all over the place, whether it's in regards to certain policies or positions that are controversial or what have you, where you'll see, the right, let's just say the right side of the aisle is accusing the left of believing one thing, and then the left will say, no, we don't believe that. Oh, you're just mischaracterizing us. And then slowly over time it transitions to, yeah, we are saying that, but that's a good thing. And that's kind of where we're at with socialism now. I mean, even some of the, Barack Obamas of the world, despite what they might say to certain crowds and certain rally events, when they're actually put on the main stage, they try to present themselves as a moderate with maybe some progressive ideas. Maybe they want to expand the social safety net when it comes to a handful of different social programs.
What?
But now we're getting to a point where these people that are running and winning elections, they are just flat out talking about how they want to, seize the means of production when it comes to certain industries. Everything that's going on in New York City right now is unbelievable with the rent freezes and, the basically trying to take as many rights away from landlords as possible. That stuff needs to be compared to what's going on in communist China. It's unbelievable what's happening right now, and we're just supposed to assume that this is just a natural extension of moderate progressivism. Absolutely not.
Well, this is just the rash. The psoriasis has been there forever. This is what you have to understand. They've already been very, very successful. When you have, Donald, and you know this, 91% of all Americans being subsidized, you have a society that is a communist society. We are right now, and this has always been my argument, 91% of all Americans are subsidized thanks to ghetto care, Obamacare, affordable care, which has skyrocketed the premiums, hundreds of percent. The quality sucks, and congratulations. Now, what do? They're going to build on it. And they do it because we aren't making the correct argument. There is no such thing as Medicare, Medicaid, universal health care. None. Nobody in this world gets out of it alive. Are you going to tap the individual fear of the inevitable death to take away the freedom of the country that was born of it? Well, then you're just a coward. There is not socialism or communism. This is occupied by the coward, the entitled, greedy coward who thinks that he is winning because he tears somebody else down to the loss column. It's all it is. And you know who knows that? Every Soviet, every Cuban, and everybody from Mao Zedong or Mao Zedong, whatever commie that bastard was. They all know it. Nobody got health. How was the health care? Sucked. Go to Canada. How's the health care? and here's the reality, because this is an IQ test. And I live my life like this, and I think I've never been happier in my life. I don't care what the service is. If I'm getting my oil changed, have you ever or are you now a Democrat? You don't touch my car. You don't touch my body. I don't partake in it. And that's what we need to do with these programs that force us into it. I have been making this argument for years. There is no such thing as a Social Security program. Give me my money back.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want it. And I say the same for your Medicaid. Everybody, I can't wait till I get Medicaid. Right here, does Medicaid mean I have to go to a Democrat? I don't care if he's a dentist, a podiatrist. I don't care if he's a general practitioner or a surgeon. I don't want you. Don't touch me.
Right.
Why are few people afraid to make the argument?
I actually think that is a perfectly reasonable mindset to have, even in the example that you used about going to get your oil changed. Because, you pull up and you're in your nice Shaun Thompson mobile, whatever you're driving around. And, for any other person that's
splendid.
looking at that, you see that as just like that's, this is just representative of the value that he brings to society as dictated by various consumers in the economy and what have you, right? It's just kind of a natural outcome of what happens with free markets, voluntary interaction, that sort of thing. The socialists that would be changing that oil begrudgingly, of course, because they'd rather be doing some underwater basket weaving or whatever the thing is, they look at your car and they feel lionized by their mindset to determine whether or not you, in fact, deserve that car. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I mean, you can see some of these people that are representing the Democratic Socialists of America that go on to various news outlets and they talk about their point of view. I was just watching a clip earlier, one of these DSA mongrels, talking about how no landlord in New York City has the right to a 12% return on their investment.
I saw
it. So this guy gets to dictate what rate of return you should get on your investment? That's what we're voting for? Unbelievable.
It's not just an IQ test, being a communist, a Democrat, or a socialist. It's a character test. And when you look at the character of the people who sell this philosophy, it is the character of a mafia boss, of a thief. That's all it is. Look at, and you know, the Pritzkers are the greatest example of all. All but one that really doesn't make a big speech about it, the one who looks like he was born from the security guard, the baby brother. All but one, big Democrats, buy Democrats, own Democrats, Democrats. This is the same family that was left individually almost $2 billion apiece for as many of the Flintstones as they are. And what did they do? They sued each other. You want to talk about greed? Can you imagine? I got a bill when my relatives die. I get a bill. I pay everybody's debts. They get $2 billion. And the character of JB specifically is so low that the interest on $2 billion is how many millions and millions and millions a year without doing anything. And he hired and frauded on his property taxes to save, what, $60,000? You want to talk about low character, thieving, rat, fraud. It's in every one of the people who declare themselves Democrats. Every one of them.
Right.
And you look at this guy now that's going to run nine-finger Yakuza, Rahm Emanuel. The only time he ever worked, he went to work for a lobbyist, a half-ass money bundler, banker fraud. And he worked for 2 years. He bribed them $16 million. And that lobbyist fraud, after Obama wins and after he becomes, they get all the contracts with the government. It's open now. You don't have to be a Basil Rathbone to investigate it, Sherlock. It's right there. This is a character flaw, which is why you can never take a result of an election or a program from them. I'm surprised that they only admit the Chicago Public Schools stole and misappropriated $150 million. I thought it'd be more. They got 300. Right. They got $300 billion or $300 million during COVID. Money all gone and fried up. I'm tired of pretending they have legitimate services or even good intentions. If they declare themselves a Democrat, I know what you are. Doesn't everybody?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like increasingly. I'm just thinking about this kind of as you're talking, that like we're approaching the event horizon of this socialist scheme. It's like, you know, you kind of get close to the gravitational pull of the black hole of collectivism when you start trying to win elections by offering people handouts and different programs and all of that sort of thing, just to get enough votes. You know, we're not going to get inside the full-on gravitational pull of it, but we'll just get close enough because, you know, the ends justify the means. But I think increasingly we are getting closer to that event horizon where you've got right now what we're observing is basically a power struggle inside the Democratic Party. You've got the more of the establishment Democrats that obviously have been towing the line of socialism for who knows how long, that are just good enough to, you know, do the handouts and buy the votes and, you know, do all the political favors to the politically connected industries or companies and all of that sort of thing. But what we're seeing is a dramatic rise in the influence of the socialist wing, the flat-out socialist wing of the Democratic Party. And I think that you mentioned, what's her name? Hong. What's her first name? I forget.
Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong. It's Francesca.
Mao Zedong.
It's Francesca. She's part of that. She's from a little Italy in South Korea. Francesca.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I think that is going to be this bellwether. So she's running in the primary for Wisconsin governor, right? And I think this is going to be like a bellwether election because what we're seeing right now is kind of a civil war going on amongst the Democrats. You've got the outgoing governor. You've got the outgoing governor that is putting all of his weight behind more of the establishment. Was named David Crowley. He's more the establishment-orientated Democrat. But she is winning all of the polls. So I think that like the dogs are off the leash at this point, and
she's a true believer.
Roosters are coming back, and the Democratic wing of the socialist wing of the Democratic Party is going to take over in the next 2, I don't know, maybe 4, maybe 6 years, but it's happening.
Well, she's a true believer. There's a difference, right? You can almost tell she's a true believer. She can sell the lie because she believes it more than Governor Orville Redenbacher on meth, Evers. He's a fraud too. He took that state more socialized towards a more socialist communist direction than anybody in recent history.
Right.
And that's why I say we owe them a thank you. Finally, they have the courage to at least admit what they are versus hiding behind the illusion of it, like Governor Cameltoe. And what's the real difference between J.B. Pritzker and Mao Zedong? She stands when she pees and 250 pounds. That's it. The only difference. There's no difference. These rat bastards. He's selling bulldog too. He blames corporations. There's not a bigger extortionist or profiteer than Illinois on every product. So it's not just an IQ test, as they call it in an election. It's a character test. And what I love is just break apart the country in counties. And you see 85% of us are not commie scum. They just control the majority of the areas because they have more people doing nothing all day, living on the nipple of society. They're Democrats, but at least they identify themselves finally after all this debate of my entire life. That's commie, that's socialist. What are you doing? You're a Marxist. No. They're out of the closet. You're a thief.
Yeah.
And you want to steal everybody's money and everybody's property over their own work. And the doctors, you're in on it too because you made a fortune under Obamacare. You were in on it. You were selling all that bulldog. Screw you too. So that's my advice to all of you at Heartland Institute, where you're going to have a big function that I think we're going to be at, but we'll figure that out. I want you to tell everybody at the function, it's a character test. And if they declare themselves a Democrat, don't let them work on your car, your feet, your prostate, or anything else that you love. What do you think?
I think you're right. I think that, we had this Stopping Socialism project for a while. It took a little bit of a reprieve after Bernie Sanders took back-to-back shellackings in the Democratic primaries. And then it kind of went away for a little bit, and it is roaring back. And I think that this is going to be one of the debate of the decades coming up because it's only getting more apparent here, and the Democratic Party is just leaning into it.
All right. So I love this. Heartland.org is where you find everything Donald Kendall, correct?
That's absolutely right.
And then you still have the Stopping Socialism TV on YouTube. What's the name of that YouTube channel?
Yep, Stopping Socialism TV. Of course, there's an In the Tank podcast, Climate Realism show. You can find our stuff all over the place.
Oh, the climate is great. And the trillions and all these guys getting... I got a whole story in Oregon. They shut down some fraud plant that was about EV trucks. And we're losing our job. You didn't have any jobs, all subsidized. So I love the fact you're taking that. You want to plug the event? You want to start to sell that now, or you want to wait? What do you want to do?
No, of course, yeah. So benefit.heartland.org. We have our big benefit dinner that's coming up in September 3rd, I believe. It's a Thursday night. We've got Governor Ron DeSantis will be there headlining the show, and like you alluded to, maybe there'll be some other, there. We'll see. Details need to be worked out.
A couple of Floridians on stage. What could go wrong? And I could tell you something. There won't be anybody in the room that on a Friday night says to his friend, hey, you want to go to a cockfight tonight? Nobody in that room is going to be interested in some third world chickens fighting. Thank you very much for always making time, brother. I appreciate you.
Oh, anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Crosscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Crosscom.
Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
Market, market, market. There's only one place I go. Even I talk to a lot of smart guys, but one of the guys I talk to that's smart and can facilitate your retirement growth, Tom Fortino, Alpha Wealth Group. I'll tell you what, from all the years of dealing with him, I'm trying to think of a time where I asked his opinion and he was wrong, and I cannot think of one. And when you want to navigate troubled economies of the Biden years, where trillions are going out the door to fake industries like the EV market, Tom was smart enough to circumvent those potholes. That's the beauty you get at alphawealthgroup.com. Call 630-864-6711 if you have any questions or you want a no-obligation free consultation on your own retirement and an overview of what you have and where you want to be. He'll understand your risk tolerance, what your goals are, and make it so you can reach those goals. And the most important thing, upon the inevitable, which we all do, me, you, squirrel, honey bunny, nobody gets out alive, not even my great Boston Terrier. Your kids get the money. That's the most important thing, because in case you're not paying attention, if you're listening to this in a Democrat enclave, they're broke and they're looking to steal your money in one way or another. So if you want your children to get the money, alphawealthgroup.com or call 630-864-6711 to understand fundamental economics and partake in the greatest economy in the world that has new highs across the board. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711, online, alphawealthgroup.com. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., right here on AM 560, The Answer, the Alpha Wealth Group Hour, where you can hear a conversation on fundamental economics and a perspective of where things are going for free. When we get back, Mitchell in Des Plaines. He'll lead us off. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In the QC Kinetics newsroom, we see a chance of a thunderstorm tonight and a low of 69. A student shot several people at a high school outside Bangkok, Thailand, killing at least 5. Job creation stalled last month. The government's monthly employment report out today shows no new non-farm payroll jobs were added in July. In fact, 23,000 jobs were unexpectedly shed. Senator Marsha Blackburn came out on top in the GOP primary race for Tennessee governor.
Together, we are going to be the freest state in the United States, and together we will make certain that our Tennessee remains the envy of the nation.
She defeated Congressman John Rose and State Representative Monty Fritz. The White Sox will host Cleveland tonight. Cubs travel to Kansas City. The news a service of Woodland Windows and Doors. See Marvin products in their beautiful showroom at the corner of Lake and Gary and Roselle, or visit woodlandwindows.com for a free in-home consultation. Your next news update at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the evening commute with Marty Jones.
Eden's outbound Montrose to Lake Cook Road, 21 minutes, inbound 36. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 50 minutes, inbound an hour 13. Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams, 43 minutes, inbound an hour 17. Stevenson out to I-355, 44 minutes, inbound an hour. At County Line Road, earlier accident with an overturned semi that was blocking lanes with gravel all over the roadway has been cleared. On the Dan Ryan outbound to 95th, 17 minutes, inbound at 22. To Sauble Lakeshore Drive southbound, traffic is still heavy southbound side from Monroe to Roosevelt. And on the Jane Addams eastbound, an accident now reported before Route 53, and they are blocking 2 right lanes with that accident. This report is a service of the daily podcasts of Chicago's Morning Answer and The Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and high humidity with a thunderstorm possible. The temperature will drop to 70 degrees. Looking ahead to Saturday, expect a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In DuPage County, regular NOLED is $3.87 a gallon at the SNK in Bensonville, $3.95 a gallon at the 7-Eleven on Irving Park in Wooddale, and $3.97 a gallon at the 76 on Plainfield Road in Darien.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
So your next 5 minutes could be your most productive 5 minutes in years, at least when it comes to your finances anyway. That's all it takes to find out exactly how much you'll save joining MediShare versus what you're paying now for healthcare. It's very typical for people to find out they can save hundreds a month, thousands a year. The typical family saves up to $500 a month. And healthcare sharing is different for sure. It's refreshing different. We know from member surveys, people love saving the money, of course, but they also just like MediShare more than what they were doing before for healthcare costs. And it's not a new thing. It's been proven for more than 30 years. Hundreds of thousands of Americans are part of this. So call them now. They are great to talk to. And very quickly, you'll find out what you can save. You can get your questions answered. Your next 5 minutes could mean saving hundreds a month, month after month. And here is the number. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Vintage toys or model trains in the attic? Sell them for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
I can't remember nothing, no. But the good time we used to share, my love.
Oh, I am so going to listen to that on the way home. It's not even funny. You know who remembers when this was out? I know he was there. He was at Faces, probably with a mustache he was trimming. Mitchell and Desplaines. Were you at BBC's or Faces? Where did you get down to Teddy Pendergrass?
I don't know. Hey, what I want to ask you is that, I listened to your interview with the guy that's the public relations guy from Los Angeles yesterday.
Michael Levine.
And he brought up a good point about how Fauci lost his legacy in 53 minutes, but I think it goes deeper than that. They're still pushing the COVID-19 vaccines when they never went through the clinical trials. Strike one. Strike two, there's no justice with regards to the unintended consequences of all the people that are having these side effects that are irreversible, no less. And Fauci makes $1.6 billion lying by Pfizer. He lied through his teeth about the origins of the virus. You know that in 2009, they were doing deals in all these biolabs all across the world. Okay? So the whole point was he has a history of setting up. Basically, he took SARS and arginine, an amino acid, and that's how they got COVID-19 to become airborne. And then they came up with a superficial vaccine that was never tested. Explain that.
I'm going to explain the best part of the whole thing. He took every allegation that you and I made, every question that people thought about the government's willingness and ability to poison its citizen, and he validated it. He took it all out of the shadows. What he did was the greatest benefit to what you and I have been screaming from the rooftop since the 80s. The government is working not just against the best interest of its citizens, against the health of its citizens. The government financed the bioweapon and knowingly financed and approved the vaccine, which was worse than the bioweapon. They did it. Evidence over. The United States government worked to reduce the United States population. They financed it. They knew what they were doing, and it was perpetrated from Mount High, just the way we thought. It was beautiful. And that pickle-faced bastard did us a huge solid, because otherwise it would have just been what we've been doing all of our lives, proving that they were doing it. Now he validates. Thank you, Fauci. Verdict is in. Guilty as charged. And there are some people who knew it while it was going on.
We found out that Peter Marks, head of CBER, the Center for Biologic Evaluation and Research, the group within the FDA that approves vaccines, then supposedly do surveillance on safety signals, right? On March 1st, 2021, this is less than 3 months after the emergency use authorization was granted by CBER, was warned by their chief data mining analyst, Dr. Anna Sharsman, who's working with the inventor of the algorithm that's going to analyze VAERS, that algorithm was going to hide and mask safety signals. And he thanks for the report. 26 days later, using a new algorithm that unhid those safety signals, that they showed that the old system had 49 cases of extreme masking, and they showed him 25 safety signals of incredibly serious adverse events: sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, different types of strokes.
Guilty! Now let me at him. Look away. Women and children, look away. I'll take care of it. That's all. Simple. George, Naperville.
Yes, Shaun, I know they still do the chicken dance at weddings after they eat their chicken Vesuvio, but I was shocked to hear chicken fights are going on in Hawaii.
They're cockfights, and you have to say it quietly or Kamala Harris will pop out of a room. Cockfights! Scott Willowbrook.
Shaun, remember, Peter Strzok told Lisa Page, just to add to what you were talking to Mitchell about, is he going to get in? No, don't worry. They have a plan. It was the plan the whole time. Part of the other plan, too, is to get a bunch of new people over into the country, educate them, and get them up on the jobs because people were going to die and they needed to replace them.
And you know what I love about that? They covered up the scandal that for years he was stooping her or she was stooping him. I've got 50 says she used to say to him, turn over. Thank you, Scott. Scumbags, FBI, Democrats. Caligula, what do you want to do today? Stakeout. Andrew, Cherville, Indiana.
Dude, I have 2 questions for you.
Oh, boy. 2. All right. Shoot.
What did Barack Obama say when J.B. Pritzker asked him if he ever has dreams about bacon?
Hold on. Let me find my shoes.
He said, I have dreams about Kevin Bacon.
Oh, ba-dum-bum. All right, what's number 2?
Am I going to see you at the Bud Billiken parade tomorrow?
Yes, I'll be there handing out food stamps. It's going to be a big crowd around me, so you fight your way through it, will you please? All right? And every time you say bacon around J.B. Pritzker, he checks his shorts. He's got them. Strips. Adam.
Get in my belly!
Lake Bluff.
Hey, Shaun, I'm in beautiful downtown Slaughterhouse 5, Waukegan. But anyways, I don't know if you looked at the emblem that the Democratic Socialists use is the same as the Italian Radical Party, which was founded in 1904, before the Russian communists. And they're full of whack jobs in Italy. They're only like about 1% or 2% of the electorate, but they're all
kind of the
crazy.
South, though. That's the South. The North, they work. They're decent. The South, though, is a little sketchy. You get around where it's one of my grandfather used to say he was a hillbilly from the Naples area. You don't want to be downtown Naples. That's a rough area. They're either looking to rob you or get paid. Well, it's like Chicago. Then nobody works. They're looking to rob you and get something for nothing. There you go, Adam. You're a very good point. Mark, Oak Lawn.
Sean, how are you?
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure, thanks for making it.
Hey, you know that whole COVID thing? It's such a ridiculous how they tried to, like you said, they're trying to knock down the population. But Sean, answer me this: why did the senators and the Congress? They didn't have to take the shot. They had the option because, they're special people. They're in that elite club. What a bunch of crap.
No, they're like the Politburo or the Soviet commissar. That's all they are. Same thing, brother. Why do you think they sell it? Because it's good to be the government when the government is the tyrant. You know who understands this? Everybody who lived under a tyrannical government, which means all Chicagoans. Everybody understands it. Would you rather be a hardworking guy opening a store in Chicago or be on the street department where nobody knows you're supposed to work? What would you rather do? Thank you very much for answering the call. Like the commissar. And Squirrel, we got to remind people, too, during that whole Soviet Union, who was actually in charge of it? Was it more Ukrainians or Russians? Oh, that's interesting, huh? I can't help but notice all the experts. Well, Vladimir Putin wants to put back the Russian Empire. I don't think he wants anything to do with the Ukrainians. When you just add up Khrushchev, Brezhnev, what's his other name, Chernenko, and you think about the most vicious leaders of the Soviet Union, all Ukrainians, that was after they were Azov Nazis. That's just me thinking out loud. 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, offers Chicago businesses relationship-first banking. Signature knows your name and your story because personalized banking still matters. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature is where I do my business banking.
Hi, I'm Phil Silverman, CFO of Chicago Atlantic and a client of Signature. We provide capital solutions in markets where risk is often fundamentally mispriced and traditional financing can be limited. At Chicago Atlantic, success depends on experience, responsiveness, attention to detail, and an entrepreneurial mindset. That's exactly what we found with Signature. Their team understands how we operate, supports our growth, and delivers the kind of personal service that's increasingly rare in banking today. And that's exactly why we bank with Signature.
Signature helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature, a division of Esquire Bank, at 773-467-5600 or visit signature.esquirebank.com. Esquire Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Concerned about your retirement accounts or bank savings? Tired of stock market turbulence? Or simply curious about diversifying with precious metals? Tune into The Gold Show on AM 560, The Answer. Learn how gold and silver can help protect your financial future. Discover insights, strategies, and opportunities designed to help you make smarter decisions and guide you to more confident investing. Don't miss The Gold Show this Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Hi, Rhett Rasmussen of BestHotGrill.com. Step up your grilling game with our Solaire portable infrared grills. Our compact everywhere is a favorite of RVers and trailer pullers. Solaire infrared provides the quick sear for bar marks and texture needed to properly finish sous vide. Use a portable alongside your larger conventional grill to create an instant sear zone and more juicy and flavorful food. Learn more at BestHotGrill.com. Affordable, powerful, portable infrared grills at BestHotGrill.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's funny. Oh, that Russian collusion. You remember that? I remember that. I really wish we would have focused on all of the Ukrainian collusion.
On March 22nd, 3 paintings by French masters Cézanne, Renoir, and Matisse, worth more than $10 million, were stolen from a museum near the Italian city of Parma. The theft has since been investigated by Italy's Carabinieri and the Cultural Heritage Protection Unit. Surprisingly, less than a month after the heist, one of the stolen paintings, A Cup and Plate of Cherries by Paul Cézanne, appeared in one of President Zelensky's videos.
Шановні українці, українки, коротко про цей день. ППО буде новий підхід до застосування.
Presumably recorded on April 16th, the video shows Zelensky addressing Ukrainians, with a stolen painting appearing on a wall directly behind his back. The video was published on the official website of the President of Ukraine, but has since been removed. This is a rare case of a stolen painting reappearing in public. Chris Marinello, founder of Art Recovery International, says that a very small percentage of stolen art is ever found.
Well, normally they're not dumb enough to put it behind them as they address the world. But then again, we're dealing with former Soviets.
The wife of a Ukrainian politician has been caught allegedly smuggling $28 million and 1.3 million euros in cash. Anastasia Kotvitska was caught by the authorities in neighboring Hungary carrying cash stashed in suitcases. Kotvitska is the wife of Ukraine's former member of parliament, Igor Kotvitska. A criminal case has now been opened against Kotvitska for failing to declare the removal of the...
or what is it called? Russian collusion when it's Trump. I say Ukrainian collusion. And we don't have to go back to the effervescent Victoria Nuland, who's built like Pritzker. We can go right back to any upper echelon administrator in the Obama-Biden administration.
Convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion.
Confession.
Said, you're not getting
and it didn't matter. And then when it comes to green energy and the greatest ecological disaster created by man, another confession.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly, since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
And yesterday, the Ukrainian Azov Nazis, 1,300 miles from the border of Russia, attacked an oil refinery. Where's all the eco-Nazis? Ah, you're with the Azovs. Glenn, Orlando.
Shaun, I think we should put our names in the hat for the WNBA draft. Let's go. I got the blue hair wig. I'm ready to go. You going to join me?
No, if I want to watch girls play basketball, I'll go to the Obama Library, wait for Alexei Giannoulias to take his shirt off. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
I've got a question for you. When is the last time you actually looked at your insurance policy? Not renewed it, but looked at it. Most people, including myself, get it, and then you forget about it for years. That's exactly how you end up underinsured and overpaying without even knowing it. Tommy and TJ Iaquinta have built Class A insurance around fixing just that. It's a father and son operation out of Chicago's southwest suburbs. And because they're independent, they're not locked into any one carrier. They work with the best names in the business to find the coverage that actually fits your needs, matches your budget, and does what you want it to do. That kind of attention is why Class A has landed on the list of top 25 home insurance agencies in Chicagoland. So here's what I do. Call Tommy or TJ and ask for a free insurance review. He'll go over it with you line by line, no cost, no obligation, no quote required. You just walk away with the knowledge of where you stand with insurance. To set it up, go to 560insurance.com or call 708-328-5150.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
In 1796, George Washington made one of the most consequential decisions in American history. He chose not to seek a third term as president. So why does that matter? Because America was not built on permanent rulers. It was built on ordered liberty. Faith teaches that authority is a stewardship, not a possession. Leaders are accountable to God for how they use power. And why does that still matter today? Because republics survive when leaders respect limits and citizens defend them. Washington's lesson still stands. A republic is preserved when power has limits, and public service remains a duty to God and country, not a path to personal rule.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
My next guest is a very, very interesting woman, and she's the author of a new book. Before I tell you the title, I want you to understand she's a former professor of English at the University of Ottawa. She's toured colleges. She's been protested. She's been blacklisted. Author of the new book, The Goddess That Failed, Feminism's Unending War Against Men, Families, and Civilization Itself. It's out now. We will talk to Janice Fiamengo after Fox Weiser News.
Taking it to the highest court. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump calling on the Supreme Court to overturn a lower court ruling which ordered the construction of the White House ballroom to stop.
The majority of the judges wrote, "We are aware of no instance in American history in which a president unilaterally and using privately collected funds demolished substantial portions of the White House that Congress authorized to be built and American taxpayers paid for until now."
Fox's David Spun at the Justice Department. President Trump argues the ballroom is a matter of national interest, saying the ballroom also will include bomb shelters, medical and military facilities, and defense capabilities. Before the Senate heads home for August recess, they have a few items on the agenda, including moving ahead with the confirmation of Todd Blanche as Attorney General. Louisiana Republican Bill Cassidy has said he will vote in favor.
Mr. Blanche is not perfect, and he will tell you this. But the choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche. It is between Mr. Blanche and another acting attorney general who may not run the department effectively under President Trump.
A procedural vote on the confirmation could happen as soon as tonight. President Trump announcing billions of dollars in new investments to jumpstart American mining.
The Pentagon and Department of Interior are investing more than $2 billion in critical mining and mining-related projects, including funding for mining schools to increase the workforce. President Trump has also pledged hundreds of millions of dollars to boost the coal mining industry and rolled back environmental regulations that restricted power plants hearts and minds.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A federal judge has sided with Virginia's NAACP, ordering Shenandoah County to replace the Confederate names of schools that it had restored in 2024, saying the school board's decision discriminated against black students. America is listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Eden's outbound 22 minutes, inbound 32. Solid traffic between Toohey Avenue and Montrose Kennedy Junction. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare, 42 minutes, inbound an hour 24. Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams, 46 minutes, inbounds an hour 20. Stevenson out to I-355, 41 minutes, inbound at 59. The overturned semi-accident at County Line Road is all cleared. On the Dan Ryan out to 95th, 15 minutes, inbound at 20. And on the Jane Addams eastbound, just before Route 53, accident still in the two right lanes. We have traffic now stop and go from Roselle Road. And on DeSable Lakeshore Drive southbound, solid traffic from Monroe to Roosevelt. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with high humidity levels and the possibility of a thunderstorm. The low will be around 70 degrees. Moving into Saturday, anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high temperature will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will bring partly cloudy conditions with a low around 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Born on America's darkest day, September 11th, 01, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, they have helped American heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Navy Chief Shannon Kent. Kent was killed in a suicide bombing, leaving behind her husband, Joseph, their two kids. Tunnel to Towers honored her sacrifice and paid off the family mortgage, giving them security forever. Donate $11 a month. Maybe you have a car to donate, land to donate. Please go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Have you ever wondered, with all the different religions and interpretations of the Bible, how you can be sure that you're on the right path in your spiritual journey? The powerful new book, You and God by Peter Philippi, helps you answer this question and discover how to establish a truly personal relationship with God through biblical understanding and faith. Get your copy of You and God by Peter Philippi today by visiting pbmusa.org. That's pbmusa.org.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
The lie people prefer to believe versus the truth that may not be comforting. It's really a description of what is happening, not just in America, but around the world. My next guest is a very, very interesting woman. She is somebody who wrote a new book that is extremely important. She was a professor of English at the University of Ottawa. She is retired now. The new book, The Goddess That Failed, Feminism's Unending War Against Men, Families, and Civilization Itself. Her name is Janice Fiamengo. Janice, how are you?
I'm very well, Shaun, and thank you very much for having me on your program.
Well, it's a very interesting topic, and I say this to you because I've always loved history. And I love the idea of what has happened. Obviously, I focus on American history only because I'm not Canadian. But the reality is America has done such a tremendous benefit to the world because it allowed people to have their own property rights, their own property. And when you look at the successes among Americans, it's astonishing. And some of my favorite are among women. And I don't care if we're talking about Pleasant, Mary Ellen Pleasant, who's the first female millionaire. She was a former slave born in 1814 to 1904. She became a millionaire in San Francisco after the Civil War. It's truly amazing what she did. Or if you're talking about Madam C.J. Walker, who developed beauty care, millions and millions of dollars, all born in the 1800s. And then all of a sudden they were sold a line of bull dung around the movement that I believe the Rockefellers financed. I believe the Rockefellers financed the feminist movement. They financed so much of what destroyed American society because they understood what it would do to society. Not only that, I also remember a gangster who used to hang around with Rockefeller, Adam Russo. Did you ever hear of this? And he hung around with, I think his name was Edward Rockefeller. He was the son of Nelson. And there was a scandal.
I've seen his interview.
Can I play it? I'm going to play it for the audience, and I think they'll love it. Hold on one second.
Well, one of the things they told me was that he was at the house one night, and he would talk, and he started laughing. He said, "Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about?" And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote. And he started to laugh. He said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Why am I an idiot?" He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, and we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He said, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was, now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think.
Seems like a plan that worked, doesn't it, Janice?
Unfortunately, yes. It's hard to argue against it. It has certainly created a vast division between men and women and between many groups in our society. So rather than focusing on how we can secure our freedoms and protect them against government power. Instead, what we do is we spend a lot of time talking about manspreading and mansplaining and toxic masculinity and telling women that being married and having children is a kind of sex slavery that should be avoided, and it's much better to be a slave at the office than to work for somebody you love to make the home a beautiful place to raise children. So yeah, in all sorts of ways, it's a very sad situation, and that's why I wrote the book, to raise awareness about all of the damage that feminism is doing to our society.
And it is such an insult to women who were before the so-called movement. And you think back of the women who survived wars in Europe, wars throughout the world, and the Depression itself. Some of the strongest women in history are women who survived the Depression and raised their families. They didn't need any formal movement or recognition. And now the very government that pretends to have helped women is now putting men in their bathrooms, in their sports. The insult is laughably sad. And it's really an insult to all genders, let alone the fact that we pretend, and when I say all genders, I mean both, but to all people. And it's almost nauseating to listen to these blowhard morons representing government pretending they did anything other than destroy the continuity that existed in all countries.
Yes, it is. I mean, that was the thing that really struck me when I started teaching, and I had swallowed all of the feminist lies. I thought that the whole history of humankind was the history of men oppressing women and women being required to be rescued and to struggle for their rights, etc. And I finally realized that it does such a great disservice to both men and women to believe that nonsense. In my book, I focused not so much on perhaps what is achieved by driving men and women apart and by convincing women that they're victims, but I'm very interested in why so many women have been quick to believe it, and why so many men, too, have believed it, because it's one of the things that most struck me was the burden of shame that is placed on the shoulders of young men who, even if feminism was partly true, those young men have nothing to do with the alleged crimes of the past. They didn't benefit from any of that. They certainly didn't play any role in putting it into practice. And yet these young men are expected to pay for the rest of their lives. They're told that their sex is responsible for everything that's wrong in our society. And of course, we're told that all sorts of things are wrong, that America is a horrible white supremacist, colonialist, aggressor, misogynistic, colonizer country. And so young men are told that they're responsible for all that all they can do is apologize for it and take a step back and allow their sisters and female colleagues who are morally superior to lead us into some sort of utopian future. And it's very worrisome because we are now at the point where we're actually denying that men and women have a sexed nature, that there's anything naturally different between men and women in terms of their abilities, their preferences, their bodies, their minds, and that is very worrisome.
I can't decide if it's more Machiavellian or more Karl Marx. Fear, obligation, and guilt, the tenets of all isms, of all communisms, of all government, slavery. Yeah. Or if it's very Machiavellian, because it's really brilliant, right? In order to control somebody's judgment and character, you must first destroy it. And that's really what it really is, right? You hoist upon innocent people this notion of guilt of a crime or an offense they didn't commit, and they'll be happy to please you. It's how, I always was amazed that during the years and decades, and still now in all 54 countries in Africa, the slavery that exists. And you keep wondering, well, why don't they just destroy the slave master? And it's because they take away their character. They take away their judgment. They put them into obligation and guilt. So it's really exactly what they've done now through policy. But I'm wondering if it's really as big of a population as it would lead us to believe. That's the part that is always Machiavellian, right? They have to sell it as if it's a majority opinion, when I believe it's quite fractionally infinitesimal among actual human beings that interact on a daily basis. Maybe it's because I say this to you from a neighborhood that is insulated, as so many ethnic neighborhoods are, right? If you grow up in an Italian neighborhood, an Irish neighborhood, a Polish neighborhood, whatever, you're kind of only dealing with the people who you love. Very few people in the neighborhood I grew up with trust anybody who isn't from there, or even pay attention to what they say. I'm wondering if they're nearly as strong as they would want us to believe. Do you feel that they're the majority or a super minority?
I think they are a significant minority. And part of the problem is that they seem to be the majority because they are far more active and vocal, especially on social media, which is a blessing in some ways, but a curse in others. And I think especially for young women, the impression is that most women are feminists, and that most women want the things that feminists want and believe the things that feminists believe. And I don't think that is necessarily true at all, but I think that is a powerful motivator, and women are deceived by that. And women, I think, tend to be quite impressionable when they're young, especially those women who end up going to university. They tend to accept that what they're told by authority figures must have some validity. They don't realize that, the history of women and men working together in the United States to create a free and prosperous and vibrant civilization is a history of cooperation, not one of division and oppression. But I think that more and more young women are starting to be fueled by this sense of grievance, and more young men are starting to be cowed by this sense of, guilt, that there's nothing good about their sex. And so there was a recent survey, for example, this is in the UK, but I don't think it's that much different from North America. They surveyed young people under the age of 30. The young men, close to 3/4 of them, had a positive or very positive perception of women. So all the stuff we hear about how, men are misogynist, they hate women, they want to control women, they want to keep them down, turned out that wasn't true at all. And the vast majority, a super majority of men wanted to get married and have children. The poll suggested something quite different about the women. About less than 50% of the women had a positive or very positive impression of men. And when you got under 25, it was even worse. And less than half the number of women as men wanted to get married and have children. So we are seeing, I think, a general divide between men and women. And I do think that feminism has had a huge role to play in that. And of course, as you mentioned, the underlying Marxist impetus, this whole idea that, that marriage, the women in marriage are in the same position as the oppressed worker, under the evil capitalist system, which is exactly what Frederick Engels said in 1884 in The Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the State, based on Marx's papers. So that does worry me. The fact that women are less and less happy is very worrisome. Every poll, every survey that's been done shows that since the 1970s, the inauguration of the second wave of feminism, women's self-reported happiness and life satisfaction has gone down. And people who report these surveys are always surprised. And they clearly think that economic independence, other types of autonomy, sexual freedom, those sorts of things, that those should be making women happier and more satisfied, but they're not. And that's not surprising to me, because happiness is, as most significant philosophers and the church fathers would tell us, happiness is not a feeling, it's a life lived according to the principles of reason and virtue. But we've stopped teaching that to our young women, and so it's not surprising, I think, that they are. In fact, we encourage our young women to rage, to feel that they are victims, and to dwell on that, and to feel resentment and envy. And so I think that's very sad too.
Well, what's fascinating, and I'm wondering if you tackle this in the book, is when you look back at the generations of women that were not told by doctors or their society that they were depressed. And you look back to the women who, and I was raised by women, and I was raised by, I had the blessing of living with my grandparents. And my grandmother had gone through the Depression. And I mean, dirt poor. Her mother burned when she was 9 years old, died in front of her. And I never heard her say, I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I'm unhappy. In fact, what those women would do, and those people who survived that, they would instill in the kids that they were around that their outlook was the only thing they could control. Their outlook. The only thing you make 30,000 decisions a day, but the first one is if you're going to decide to be happy or sad. And when you look at society, that tells you from almost the time these kids are exposed to people outside of their house that there's something wrong with them. You have attention deficit disorder. You have a disability. You're depressed. You're this. The word spreads, and it's easy to be a victim. So I think part of the way they sell this is they first must sell you're a victim of your own character, your own lack of judgment. That's what I'm wondering. Where did you track it when you're doing the book? Where do you think it starts? Because it starts from, in my opinion, it can start from a bad parent, no question about it, which is why I believe in divorce. If you're hooked up with a bad parent, the best thing the good parent could do is get you the hell away from them. But where do you think it starts outside of the house? Does it start in the schools? Or does it start now because everybody's inundated with advertising through, as it used to be called the boob tube, now it's called television or media, or now it's in your hand as social websites and whatnot. Who's more culpable for this?
I would say all of the above, and I agree with you that it is far too easy to be a victim in our society. Even worse than that, it is now a kind of moral badge of honor. It is what supplies identity. It supplies authenticity. It supplies a kind of conviction that one has a special right to speak and to be heard and to lecture to others. And so I think that's one of the ways that feminism and all of these other isms as well has really ruined people's lives, is that instead of talking about virtues and talking about self-restraint and being cheerful, making the best of things, being forward-looking, feeling gratitude for what we have in North America, the incredible civilization that our forefathers built, the precious gifts of freedom and innovation. We don't get any of that. Instead, people are told that they've been born in the wrong body or that they have been discriminated against. They've been held back. Nothing is their fault. And what they should feel is this overpowering sense of anger and bitterness and blaming others, blaming society and demanding that things be changed so that their needs will be recognized. It's very worrisome. Obviously, it promotes socialism. It promotes learned helplessness, and it certainly makes people deeply unhappy.
You know what's nauseating is if you look at the statistics of how many Americans are on antidepressants. Mm-hmm. It's a staggering number.
Staggering.
Upwards of in the high 20s of percentage of how many people are on antidepressants.
It's terrible.
And do you know what else happens when you turn your children over to teachers? I mean, you know this because you were a professor. Yes. When you turn your children over to teachers, you have no idea as to who these people are in the form of their character or how they live their life.
Yes.
I wonder how many, if there's ever been a study done, how many professors and how many teachers in all levels of education are on antidepressants. Do you think that would be something that would be very interesting? I mean, I think if someone knew I was going to turn my kid over to somebody, a woman or a man, who couldn't function without a drug that tells them they're not depressed, even though the side effects of the antidepressant are sometimes more than just oily stool. Sometimes it's more depression and suicidal thoughts. So this is something that I think as students, as kids, do you not have the right to know if your teachers are on antidepressants?
Yeah, well, that's a very interesting question. Certainly we know that antidepressant use and depression, negative feelings, lack of self-worth, anger, discontent, bitterness, all of those things are certainly closely associated with particular ideologies. And we know that it is progressivism, the far left ideology that most provokes all of those negative feelings. And if we look at the teaching profession and especially higher education, they've done all sorts of surveys about the ideological leanings of those people. And they basically range from left to far left. Many of them are self-declared communists, Marxists, or socialists. I had a professor in one of the departments I worked in, and he had a picture of Lenin up on his office door. And many of these people see it as their purpose as teachers, not to teach students knowledge, certainly not to transmit an inheritance to them, our wonderful cultural inheritance, but instead to turn them into foot soldiers for radical ideology, to indoctrinate them. And so yes, I think the depression, the rage, the bitterness, all of that come with the ideology, and the ideology is now explicitly being part of the teaching. It's stunning that we allow that to go on. I really think that We will have to fundamentally change the entire education system if we're going to save our civilization.
Well, and we could do it through our own history. We could do it through our own history. You know, you hear a lot of people on the right, they talk about the founding fathers. And when you look at them and you break it down, a tremendous amount of them were kids in today's comparison of kids. I mean,
yes.
Many of them were teenagers. When you look at the percentage of them that were raised by their mother, whether it's George Washington or Benjamin Franklin, their fathers either died or they were thrown out of the house at a very young age. And you look at how many of them were raised by women. And you look through history at some of the strongest men in the world, they were raised by women. But if you look at the kind of women that raised them, they weren't women that hated men. They were women that loved their kids, and they loved the principles of what men could do or women could do. So you just see a weakness in the character that is really overwhelming when you think how susceptible people are. And I think we've come to the conclusion it's the left in general, but more importantly, it's the education system. So I love the idea when I read these statistics of homeschooling. I think that is the way to save the future. And when you look at the silver lining of COVID, more and more people are doing that. That's the real answer to saving the world, isn't it?
Oh, I absolutely agree that what COVID did for us all was that it made clear what was going on in so many classrooms across North America, and many parents who had assumed that things were generally well realized that they absolutely were not. So I certainly agree. In Canada, it's very difficult to homeschool. The government very much frowns on it and makes it difficult. I know that some European countries outlaw it. Certainly if I had, my life to live over again, that would be the route that I would go. Yeah. And I think a lot of smart parents are deciding to do that. There are so many wonderful things to learn. And we are so blessed to live in free countries. And I'm a great admirer of the United States. And I think it is such a shame that we send our children off to be taught to hate their own country and to hate one another, of course, but to hate their own country and not to appreciate what the generations that went before us and what many men who died, and of course women suffered too, in order to save the system. We were quite prepared to throw it away in order to achieve some sort of utopia where people don't have to work and where we'll all be looked after by the government. It's truly staggering.
Well, and it's the reverse, too, as when kids were taught, and like myself and so many of the people I know, one good teacher can change your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, just think about what 100 bad ones can do. So I love the idea that a good one wrote this book. I cannot wait to get the book. It's out now, correct?
It is out. Yes, it is.
I love it. The Goddess That Failed, Feminism's Unending War Against Men, Families, and Civilization. It's out now. Where do you prefer everybody buy it, Janice?
Oh, wherever they want to. It's available on Kindle. It's on Amazon. It's at the site. So I would be pleased or they can borrow it from the library. I want the ideas to get out there. I want us to stop being under the illusion that feminism is just about equality. It has nothing to do with equality. And it's important that we understand from feminists' own mouths, because I quote extensively from feminists, that we see what exactly they believe and what they want and what they're bringing about, because it is nothing to do with what most of us think. And I would also just like to say that if anybody would like to come to my Substack newsletter, which you can subscribe to for free, you can see the kinds of things I write about and whether they're the sort of things that are of interest.
And I think you were predetermined way before you were even born to write this book. Your name is Fiamengo. I love that. Janice Fiamengo. So thank you very much for writing the book and making time. I look forward to the next time. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Ross Shaw talks about building income in retirement.
You can actually structure it in a way that have that $4,000 a month coming in the door every single month. So you don't have to look at the stock ticker and say, oh, the stock market's up today, stock market's down. You still got that $4,000 a month, and having that opportunity to take the vacations and do all the fun things in retirement that you always dream to do.
Unleash your wealth, Saturday at 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and last year I hired Level 10 Coatings to give my garage floor a total makeover, and I am loving it. It still looks great, shiny, and clean. Level 10 Coatings. Now, you've got to call these guys if your garage floor is cracked, stained, still covered in salt. Don't live like that. Get it done now so you can enjoy it this summer. Level 10 Coatings. They're fast, reliable, and highly professional. Guess what? I went to work. When I came home, it was done. A shiny new gleaming garage floor. A quick, easy fix, and it's guaranteed never to chip or peel. Why? It's not an epoxy job. It's better. Level 10 uses polyurea, which is much better than epoxy. So schedule your free quote today and mention me, Amy, to receive $500 off. Visit level10coatings.com. That's level, the number 10, coatings.com, or call 855-510-2628. Staff are local and ready to answer questions. Level 10 Coatings, your premier concrete coating experts.
Looking for a place that feels like home the moment you walk through the door? Then make your way to Shannon's Deli in the heart of downtown Lombard. For more than 25 years, this woman-owned local favorite has been serving up incredible made-to-order sandwiches, homemade soups, crisp salads, and delicious catering that's earned a loyal following throughout DuPage County. Every meal is made with care because at Shannon's, you're not just another customer, you're family. And when the weather's beautiful, grab your lunch or dinner and head upstairs to their rooftop patio. It's the perfect place to relax with friends, enjoy great food, and experience one of downtown Lombard's hidden gems. And Shannon's Deli is just 35 feet from the Metro train station. Plus, when you're ready for dinner, live entertainment, or a classic Irish pub experience, visit their sister restaurant, Shannon's Irish Pub in Glen Ellen, just 2 blocks from the Metro station. Visit shannonsdeli.net and shannonsirishpub.info. That's shannonsdeli.net and shannonsirishpub.info.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Well, it's bad enough you have to live in an area that's controlled by Democrat lowlifes who are stealing money and pretending they're delivering services, whether it's your town, your county, or your state. If you're in Illinois, you're probably hard-pressed to find good people. I have the answer. August 28th, Lakeside Pavilion, Weston and Itasca, Shaun Fest, where we will not have a low-life, degenerate, commie, socialist, or American Democrat there. There'll only be us. And the people go, well, I used to be a Kennedy. Well, it doesn't exist anymore. No Kennedy Democrats. Just American commies and us come together on August 28th. And all you have to do is go to 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. All together, Shaun is spelled S-H-A-U-N. I love the idea that we're going to start it. The show starts at 4. We're going to do the show live, but I'll get there at 3. You get there at 3. We'll have a great time. And we're going to stay until I get to say hello, shake your hand, have a conversation with each and every one of you. There will be music there. Jukebox Heroes is the band. We have a national anthem that we do every Friday, as you know, and all the interviews will be live and in person. This couldn't happen without you. We so love the idea of our end of summer family get-together called Shaun Fest, and all you have to do, you don't have to pay. Just register. 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Sponsored in part by some of our great sponsors. Randy Donnelly will be there. Arlington Pipe and Tobacco will be providing cigars, and they better bring me a good selection. On the 28th of August, and Virago, Dr. Huber, leaving-l.com. Very good, very smart real estate broker. State Farm insurance agent Anthony DeGrotto. Anthony's a great kid. Unique Wooden Flags, Class A insurance owned by Tommy and TJ Iaquinta. Wonderful people. And you. And all you have to do, 560theanswer.com/ShaunFest. Hope I see you there. When we get back, I can't believe it. We just got a couple segments left. 312-642-5600 if you want to be on the fastest show on radio after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, there's a chance of a thunderstorm around late tonight and a low of 69. The murder trial of a woman accused of killing one Bradley police officer and the critical wounding of another is underway. Zandria Harris is charged in the death of Sergeant Marlene Ribmanick and the shooting of Officer Tyler Bailey. An investigation continues after remains of more than 50 were recovered from a funeral home on Chicago's South Side. State Police and the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office sent investigators to the South Chicago Chapel yesterday after state regulators found deplorable conditions.
I can't imagine what the family members are going through. And they trusted the funeral home to put their loved ones away, and they in there decomposed. That's terrible.
Regulators have suspended the funeral director's license. Chicago sports, White Sox host Cleveland tonight, while the Cubs go on the road to face Kansas City. The news a service of Audible. When you start listening to books on Audible, traffic might seem like less of an annoyance and more of an opportunity for another chapter. Audible, stories that speak to you. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com. Your next news update is at 7. And up next, a check of the evening commute in the AM 560 traffic center with Marty Jones.
Eden's outbound 18 minutes, back in at 32. On the Kennedy out to O'Hare at 38 minutes, inbound an hour 35. We see emergency equipment as you approach Irving Park Road, inbound on the Kennedy. On the Eisenhower out to the Jane Addams, 41 minutes, inbound an hour 17. And the Stevenson outbound to I-355, 34 minutes, inbound still an hour. The Dan Ryan out to 95th, 15 minutes, inbound at 16. And now an accident reported I-80 westbound delays just past I-57. On the Jane Addams eastbound, that accident before Route 53. 2 right lanes are now open. Still some stop-and-go traffic from Roselle Road. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Marty Jones.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will bring partly cloudy skies and high humidity with a thunderstorm possible. The temperature will drop to 70 degrees. Looking ahead to Saturday, expect a mix of sun and clouds with lower humidity levels. The high will reach 85 degrees. Saturday night will be partly cloudy with a low of 67 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-575-8924. 800-575-8924. That's 800-575-8924.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again. Not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
I'm not one to say I told you so, but I switched to Pure Talk over a year ago, and ever since, I've been telling people there's no better wireless company out there. Well, a few months ago, a massive survey was conducted. 123,000 people were asked to rate their wireless carrier in 4 categories: coverage, support, data, and overall value. Well, the results are in. Guess which wireless company was the only wireless company to get 5 stars in every category? Yeah, Pure Talk. 5 stars, every category. To celebrate, Pure Talk is offering the first 3 months of any plan for just $15 a month, including their top-tier unlimited plan. No contract, no commitment, just a very inexpensive way to test drive the only American wireless company with 5 stars in every category. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service will take it from there. Again, pound 250 micro. And yes, I told you so.
Now, from The Signature, a division of Esquire Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Old porcelain signs, gas and oil collectibles, collectors are waiting. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
When we talk about what the reality is in these fiefdoms called Democrat-run areas, the amount of money that is misappropriated is really staggering. So when we talk about the Biden years and the $9 trillion added to the debt, most of which no one can tell you where it is. It's not just grants where 70% of the money cannot be traced. It's all the other policies that were created under the dimwit in diapers, some called president. We never did. We knew he stole the election, and we knew who would reap the benefits, the Democrat areas and the fraud industries. So when I play you a clip that's going to play on the heartstrings of jobs numbers, understand how many jobs were created that should have never existed. How many complete industries existed on nothing but government fraud and spending. This is going to sound like it's a sad story of a truck manufacturer going out of business. But what it is the reality that the truck manufacturer was never in business. It was always subsidized by debt and government spending.
For some, this was a job. For me, it was my legacy.
K2 is digging deeper into Daimler's decision to end truck production on Swan Island. Yesterday, we told you about the...
Now, the funny thing about this, Daimler, they used to actually make trucks, and they used to actually make money. But then the Obama years came. The regulations came. And they were forced to do what so many of the manufacturers of cars in America were forced to do, completely change their agenda, completely change what they did. They went from a company that existed on delivering a product people needed to being a company that delivered a product nobody wanted but government. And the money flowed. Well, now that the Trump administration is there, the money stopped flowing. And I say, good.
375 jobs that will be lost. Tonight, we are learning what happens next for those workers and hearing from the people now tasked with helping them through it.
When Daimler told employees the plant would close, Ryan Schellenberg wasn't just hearing the news, he was the one who had to deliver it.
You just see these people that have worked there for so many years, and you say, see you later, Sammy, yeah, it's rough, man. And now what are they going to do?
You seem to get emotional.
Who would buy the EV truck that wasn't forced to incentivize 8 ways to Tuesday? That's legitimizing welfare, legitimizing an agenda that doesn't exist. So when you hear the job numbers and jobs are being lost, it's jobs that should never have existed. You know, it's a funny thing about trillions of dollars, Squirrel. $1 trillion is an annual salary of $100,000 for 10 million people. Yet all of these guys, you didn't make that. But the unions got a taste. The company pretended to be paying you when none of it was real. All of it was fake. And it all came to an end thanks to the idea that the Trump administration is going to stop throwing money down the hole of greed and fraud.
And here we go, Joe. July employment figures populating. Buckle up on this one. Minus 23,000 on non-farm payrolls. I can hear the bond yields falling right now. Minus 23,000. That would be the second worst number of the year, outside of the only other negative number, minus 156 in February.
And it's all the jobs, when you look into it, that existed on government spending.
What do you make of the new numbers as it relates to the Labor Department's employment numbers, some negative growth as it relates to employment?
Right. Well, first of all, the momentum in the economy continues to be strong. We see, durable goods orders, capital spending through the roof. People aren't being laid off. Initial claims for unemployment insurance are about the lowest they've been since World War II. And so when you see a number like that, it seems like it's dissonant with everything else that we're seeing. When we dug into the numbers, we saw that there are really two special factors. One is there was a big decline in government employment, which is partly because of DOGE and partly because there was so much snow over the winter that there were extra school days at the end of the year. And so the normal time when teachers would take the summer off was June, but a lot of them got pushed into July.
You look at the numbers of employment, that's startling as well. How many American men aren't even looking for work but playing video games on some sort of government sustenance?
Women now hold more payroll jobs than men in the United States. What? It's only the third time that's happened in American history. Economists say this shift may be different from previous ones because it appears to be driven by long-term structural changes in the labor market. Over the past 2 years, women have filled roughly 2/3 of the nation's 1.2 million new jobs. Researchers also point to declining male labor force participation. Since 1948, the share of men participating in the workforce has fallen by nearly 20 percentage points. One widely cited study also found that roughly 70% of young men's free time is now spent playing video games.
Bums! These are the ones who pretend to be communists. And how do you exist? Well, you just take somebody else's money. Here's this slob. You know what I love, too, about these communists? They're all fat. What's her name? Romer? Big, fat. Her face makes me hungry. It's round like a big pizza pie.
But we do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
Yeah, I don't have like a solid, but I think.
But shouldn't you? I mean, if you're the co-chair of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something? What exactly do you mean?
So again, it's democracy, right? And we have.
You fat pig. What do you expect from a broad that can't read or count calories?
We have to look at what we need to spend and what we need. We don't want to depend on the existence of millionaires because that means people are still getting exploited. So, yeah, we need. It
means people are. So what they're going to do to all the people who worked their ass off and built something out of their lives, they're just going to take your stuff. The good news is, like most communists around the world, this slob doesn't have the ambition to get off her ass.
We need to look at what we need to pay for in the interim, what sort of tax base we need for that to happen, and then and build from there.
Children, intellectual midgets, intellectually retarded growth morons. And it wouldn't exist if it wasn't sold by propagandists like Chris Cuomo, who I can't help but notice he's going to rebuild his career. After what? After selling propaganda for years? His father, his grandpappy, all useless scum.
Who's a communist? Who's a communist?
Look, the means of production is what people like Mamdani want to control. All you got to do is look it up, okay? The means of production. They wants to control that.
Mamdani is the mayor of New York City.
Control it.
He's the mayor of New York City. He has done nothing.
Right.
That's how you get here. By whores and propagandists and frauds lying through their teeth. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is The Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation.
Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right. Doing it right since 1959.
Honey, I can't deal with this kitchen anymore. It's cramped and everything is outdated.
I know, but it makes no sense to move. I could call my contractor buddy Chad.
Babe, you've seen Chad's house, right?
Yeah, good point.
Plus, he showed up late for his own wedding. Let's get someone who's reliable.
How about Forever Remodeling? They have a team of interior designers, master installers, and project managers all under one roof.
Their reviews on Google look amazing, and homeowners post a ton of pictures of their work.
It looks like they even offer 3D rendering of their projects.
Just like my TV design shows.
Exactly.
Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free in-home design consultation.
From kitchens to bathrooms, basements to whole homes, the design build team at Forever Remodeling takes the stress out of remodeling. They're done on time and guaranteed to match your vision. Visit them online at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
AM 560, The Answer.
Кабас колбасит соло, колбасер по пояс голый.
Fastest show on radio. I mean, a fast week. I hate the weekend, Squirrel. I really do. I listen to a lot of old radio, which really pays off every time and again. And this whole thing with Fauci, maybe the reason I've always been suspicious of doctors is because I listen to old radio. So when Rand Paul asked Pickleface.
Another question for you. The NIH continues to refuse to voluntarily divulge the names of scientists who receive royalties and from which companies.
And then I remember all the old shows, how they start. You get these guys to say anything.
What cigarette do you smoke? You'll be interested to know how the doctors of America answered that question. Tens of thousands of doctors in all parts of the country, in every state of the union. Doctors in every branch of medicine were asked, what cigarette do you smoke, doctor? In this nationwide survey of general practitioners, surgeons, throat specialists, diagnosticians, and so on, the brand named most was Camel.
Yes, according to this survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself. Make the one sensible cigarette test. Make your own 30-day Camel mildness test in your T-zone. Smoke only Camels for 30 days. Enjoy Camel's rich, full flavor. And
I'll try it. And when I show up and I got problems, who makes the money? The same doctor. Just like today. Only now they try to tell you that these men are women. We are going to have a great show for you on Monday. I hate the weekend, but I want you to have a good one, which is why I sign off every weekend with our dear friend, Charlie Kirk, and the national anthem. And it's sad, but it's also cheerful in a way. After all, he identified this just like you and I did for so many years. Proven right again, and now he's in paradise. Have a great weekend.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school. While also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us, and it's time that the church stands and rises up against it.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare of unsursing air gave through
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust.